I am above the law.
Now, Bill Clinton for PU.
Good morning. Allow me to introduce my new business venture, Pardon University. I don't care what you've done. Murder, embezzlement. If you're a cop that made a woman walk home naked. If you got the loot, I'll give the charges the boot. Even though I'm no longer the President of the United States and I possess no real power, I have found a way to jerry-rig the system.
I stole a diamond from the Zales jewelry store.
How much you got?
About $1,000.
Pardon you!
Yeah!
Hey, I embezzled $600 million from my brokerage firm.
Jackpot! How much you got?
$10,000.
Pardon you!
I lopped off my husband's willy.
Ooh, no can do, Mamacita. Try Jacoby and Myers.
Pardon University is not affiliated with any institution of higher learning and may be illegal in most states.
If you've got the bread, the charges are dead. Pardon you! Pardon you! Pardon you!
I am above the law.
Oh, pardon me. 10:02 at 560 WQM. I don't think I'm going to be able to function today. I had like 2.5 hours sleep.
No.
Here's George.
Yeah, right. Here's Neil.
Beverly Sills is dead before we get into all those. I've only got 45,000 stories about Scooter Libby. I don't know why anybody should be surprised.
No, I wasn't.
You know, we've got a Nazi regime. There is no more rule of law in America.
Nope.
We've got, Bush and Cheney and their compatriots, and we're a bunch of Nazis, and they make things up as they go along. And like one of the 8,500 articles I have says, the reason that they had to give the pardon was because once he was going to go to jail, he would start singing like a bird.
Right, it wasn't a pardon now.
Right. It was a commutation.
That's right.
And he still got to pay that $250,000.
Ooh.
Right.
That might break
See, George
in.
is off to a good start today. I think he sounds pretty good.
No. I'm too forlorn to have to be able to do the show today.
Oh, pardon me. Beverly Sills is dead, though, first, before we get into the Scooter. How about we pardon the Scooter, Phil Rizzuto, the Scooter? I don't think he gets a pardon. I think he goes to death row. The Scooter. Holy cow. Holy cow. I can't even speak. Beverly Sills, the acclaimed Brooklyn-born coloratura. Now, what is a coloratura? I mean, I know that I can read the word, but what does that mean?
I have no idea. I bet you. Oh, okay.
Coloratura soprano. See, that's part of that whole pseudo-intellectual crap.
Opera.
Who was more popular with the American public than any opera singer since Enrico Caruso, even among people who never set foot in an opera house, died last night at her home in Manhattan. She was 78. The cause was inoperable lung cancer. Ms. Sills was America's idea of a prima donna. Her plain-spoken manner and intelligent vitality made her I've got some other prima donnas in mind. A genuine celebrity and an invaluable advocate for the fine arts. Her life embodied an archetypical American... That's spelled wrong here, by the way. What is it? New York Times. Very nice. Archetypal, it says here. American story of humble origins, years of struggle, family tragedy, and artistic triumph, and now she's dead. Well, Beverly Sills. Well, we heard of her, right?
I've heard of her, yes.
But I don't know what a coloratura is. Here's Paul says, have either of you seen Zeitgeist the movie? No. Superb, it says. You seen it?
Nope.
I never heard of it.
Neither.
What is it?
Neither.
Well, what is it?
A movie.
But you never heard of it?
Nope.
Oh. Well, thanks a lot, Paul. We'll check it out. I'll tell you what I did see.
What? Sicko?
Sicko. I did watch Sicko, and I will say this. The first half of it is pretty slow, and it drags, and then the last half is great.
Right.
And the part about Cuba will really infuriate a lot of
I said that. I said,
comunista.
You see, he's
comunista. Oh, yeah. Well, it's really a sad situation.
It is sad. It's embarrassing.
It brought me almost to tears, the last part of it.
Not almost. It did bring me to tears.
Really?
The last of it, yes, it did.
Hard-ass like you brought you to tears?
Baby. You know it, man. Blubbering like an idiot
when
over those
firefighters
people.
in Cuba were like
I cried
giving
for
hugs
them.
And,
I cried for ourselves. I cried for us.
Yeah, well, that's America for you, baby. It ain't what it used to be. I don't know what it ever used to be, but whatever it was, it sure ain't anymore. You really mean to tell me you think I can do 4 hours today with no voice at all? I mean, Chris is telling me I sound fine, but he told me that last Tuesday, too, and I sounded like crap the first hour.
You sound great. Spectacular.
Get out of here. Oh.
Rich and creamy.
If I
smooth,
sounded like this, if I
buttery.
couldn't speak, you'd say the same damn thing. You're
like Walter Cronkite and Alan Burke fused together.
Alan Burke.
Well, he's got those,
What are you talking about?
those
Alan
tones,
Burke?
or Bird or
Dummy?
whatever. Yes, him with the tones.
Okay, here's the poll result before we get into the 45,000 stories about Scooter Libby and pardon me and pardon you and there ain't no laws, no mo. And it was an excessive verdict, and plus he's going to start singing like crazy about Cheney and Bush.
Mm-hmm.
So we better get his ass out of there or keep him out of there. 647 votes on the poll yesterday. We already have 624 today. How do you like that? Not that I want to play Butch Boss or anything like that. Well, this is a crappy poll. Who came up with this anyway?
Charlie B.
Oh, this was a Charlie B.
Sure.
poll?
And I
Well,
put
you
it on
should know better
at
than that.
9:30. Hey, his
What
polls are
rec
great.
facility is the best place from your own personal experience for meeting attractive people for dating or other social purposes? Can I tell you the best place to meet attractive people?
Please.
The most attractive people in the world?
Please.
Abercrombie & Fitch.
The store or the catalog?
The store.
Oh, okay.
I have never in my life, ever, I mean, Hollister is pretty good too, but I've never seen people look like that. They just don't exist. And, if you go in there and somebody happens to be wearing a nice piece of clothing.
Yes.
And you reach out and you say, oh, can that be felt? Oh, my God. I have never. And they've got the music turned up so loud in there, you don't know whether to dance or blow your brains out. It's crazy.
I suggest
What
dancing.
did you do? I just stood there drooling. Like an old fag. And a lot of the customers look almost as good, or some of them even better than the help. Well, I tell you, got to look pretty good to get hired in that store.
Good.
Have you ever been in Abercrombie & Fitch?
I walked past it.
Go in sometime.
All right.
There's something for everybody. There's male, there's female, and then there's also... Right. That. Anyway, get back to these recreation facilities, the best place to meet attractive people for dating or other social purposes, meaning like getting laid. Come on, Charlie. Don't say for other social purposes. For getting laid.
For a platonic relationship.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't know. I don't go out much. 277.
Hey, there you go. The honest vote.
Health Club, 111. That sounds awfully...
Gay.
Yeah. Casino, 49. I thought only old farts like me went to the casino.
No,
well, maybe that's for meeting or dating old farts.
There you go.
Swimming pool, 48. Nudist county or beach, 32. The nude beach in Hallandale, or at least it used to be. I don't know if it still is. You have never seen more ugly people in your life. And then, of course, I'm not saying that I never looked, because I was there a couple of times checking things out. And the leches standing in behind the trees with the binoculars, those are my favorite.
I know.
Desperate.
Just walk
what
right
they're
out
trying
there,
to say is...
I have no life.
Oh, yeah.
Bowling alley, 29. Dog park, 24. Skating rink, 20. I bet you meet some dogs in the dog park. I'll guarantee you that. Skating rink, 20. Pool hall, 18. Internet cafe, 12. Community, I'll tell you one thing. In Amsterdam, the internet cafe on the Damrak, the Easy Internet Cafe, oh, baby, there are some really fine people in that place. A wide variety of fine, from everywhere, Community Rec Center, 9. Video Arcade or Game Center, 7 for all you pedophiles. High Life Fronton, 6. And Racetrack, 5. Oh, yeah. Who put those on there? Charlie B put those on?
Those are his. He just likes saying Fronton, and I don't blame him.
It rhymes with wonton, which is the same as kreplach. And what's the Italian version?
I don't know.
Raviolis.
Okay.
And I guess they do have ravioli soup. I guess. Am I right?
I don't know. You're the one who said to Italia.
Well, it's all, the Jews
I do
Italian.
care. That's very important.
So we had 647 votes on yesterday's poll. We have 636 today already. 11 more will already tie what you had yesterday, but I can't put that on you.
In the same amount of time, though.
Well, first of all, yesterday was Monday.
That's in 6 hours we got those votes.
What do you mean by that?
I changed it at like 9:30. You changed it at what, 2:30?
No, about 6.
Okay.
Peace would have a better shot in the world if... This is also Charlie B. Give him credit for at least a decent one.
Mm-hmm.
Peace would have a better shot in the world if there were no religions to divide people, 274. That was my vote. Get rid of that crap. Get rid of the mumbo-jumbo.
Uh-huh.
I like gumbo, but not mumbo-jumbo. How about Dumbo? Anyway, Sicko was great. You really ought to see it. So, try to stay awake the first half. What bothers me is it's all... Unless you're like an ostrich with your head buried in the sand, everybody knows the stuff he puts in the first half of the movie, about the Canadian system, and then the British stuff is, and then the French thing.
Yeah.
That was enough to get you pretty aggravated.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Cuba stuff, wow.
That was embarrassing.
That was
plain
just
embarrassing.
amazing, for all of Fidel's evils and all that crap. At least, and they live longer than Americans.
Right.
How
The
do you
point
like
is,
that, eh?
it's easy to do. Even in a poor country, it's easy to do. That's the point.
Keep people alive.
Yeah. Give them health care.
Peace would have a better shot in the world if, hell, who are we fooling? There will never be such a thing as peace. See, when you put a choice in that takes 5 minutes to read, Charlie, not good. There will never be such a thing. 250. That's true. The U.S. learned to respect other countries' sovereignty, 66. We bombed Iran, 21, like John McCain would say. And he's having a bitch of a time raising any more money, John McCain. He's almost out of money. Good. Bomb his ass. He's an idiot. He's a crazy person. Everybody could just join hands and start a big love train 11. Ridiculous, but I do like the song. We could buy the world a Coke and keep it company, 6. I'd like to teach the world to sing. Who did that? Don't tell me. The Seekers.
Okay.
No?
I don't know.
Oh, well, you didn't even know? People stopped joining the military, 5. Yeah, then they wouldn't be killing each other so much, except like around the hood, with guns. And arms dealers were outlawed, only 3. Solamente Trace, out of 639. We're closing in on Charlie B's very weak total from yesterday. Who is that?
You know what? I don't know. It's not listed. Hey, Boca Brian, who does this? He's the one that sent it to me.
I can look it up in the book.
It's pretty.
I'd like to teach I'd like to teach a little sing. I can look it up real quick. I count the tears. I can do it. I'll get there.
Take your time. We've got 4 hours to kill.
Oh.
The longer you take, the less you have to talk.
If I had 2.5 hours sleep, I'd like, I don't think it's in here. Oh, I'll get by. I think I'm past Ide. The Ides of March. I'd like to teach the world to sing the New Seekers and the Hillside Singers. But the one you're playing is the New Seekers.
Okay.
From 1972. See, so I said the Seekers. It's the New Seekers, not to be confused with the freaking old damn Seekers.
Him above the law.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Abu Ghraib.
A war on terrorism is what they say. To get away with having everything their way. Nobody pays attention through their busy little day, while our leadership has gone insane. $7 billion is what we all paid to build a bomb that makes your enemies gay. They postponed the project when the word got out about a bomb that turns a foxhole brown. Get bomb, blow them all away by making them want to blow them all away. Get bomb, in times of war, you need a different kind of sword. Get bomb, turning soldiers into bags, trading their machine gun for a Prada bag. Get bomb, a manly way to fight. Let's sip a Chardonnay tonight. Driven by self-hating, homophobic fear, the Pentagon officials had a great idea. Let's show to the world who the boss is here by turning everybody queer. K-pop, that will teach them all. They can what and pinch their nails and shave their balls. K-pop, what harm will it do if they drop a gay bomb over you? Then you would be a homo.
I'm above the law.
10:19 at 560 WQM. Now, see how much better I sound after that first little go-around? Not great.
I think it's great.
You think it's great because then you don't have to work. When I came in this morning, I told you I had 2 hours of sleep and I felt like crap. If you were a real trooper, you'd have said, hey, listen, go back to sleep. I'll take care of it. I'll cover it for you, old man.
If I was a real trooper.
Wouldn't you have said that, Chris?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Not. Oh, this story, I better be real careful because I know this bull camper is back. That dullard is back in the morning.
Watch
I know what I was going to talk about before I get to this, and it's a perfect tie-in. Our good, close personal friend, Miguel Escobar, got screwed last week, and I'm sure it wouldn't be the first time. But they effed him big time. They fired his ass, And Friday evening, about 8:45, I get a call from Clarence Darrow, our make-believe program director, to give me the bad news. Well, there's some things that we wanted to do and to go in direction and blah, blah, all this other crap. The reason that Miguel got canned, now, did you talk about this?
Briefly. Yeah, I did.
Because he wasn't part of Clarence's sports fraternity, and also because he's associated with his show. He did a lot of great things for us on his show. He filled in just a couple days ago when George was out sick.
Not to mention the Raleigh connection. Everyone is being replaced with someone from Raleigh, and he's just another one.
Right, that's right. They got to bring another one of their old cronies from Raleigh down here, Jolly Joe, and Miguel called me Friday afternoon to say thanks for the memories and whatever, but, you know, and it's really sad. He's a good guy. Yeah, I think part of the problem is he looks too good. You know, unless you're really ugly, you can't work in that radio station. That's how I got the job, and George, too.
Sure.
And certainly Chris.
Definitely.
And the Humper, oh, my God. And Bo Camper, my goodness. So we miss you, Miguel. You're a good guy, and thanks for everything you did. In fact, if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have the MySpace page.
Right.
1,462 friends on there. I think it's 1,463 now. But, you know, who cares? And last night, speaking of Tom and MySpace, a lot of people were having like Green Apple Quickstep. Another one of those system-wide failures. And the phishing block kept coming up for just about everybody. You couldn't send, you couldn't receive, you couldn't add friends, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't even take a dump because the system was all screwed up. Well, the software is messed up, but they corrected it. It's one thing about MySpace. If you just live long enough, they'll correct their never-ending problems.
Right.
They are technically challenged, is the best way to put it. They suck. 678 votes on the poll already, George, and poor Charlie's poll yesterday had a total of what? 647?
So you keep saying already like you started it at 9:30.
I beg your pardon? Well, why do you do that? You started one last week.
Yeah.
In fact, what was the one I gave you, Chris? Remember I gave him the head start on that one? You had like a whole bunch of votes.
Yeah, I remember which one it was.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good poll, too.
I like to watch it develop from the beginning and have the opportunity to put stuff on there and give it a fighting chance.
Get out of here. Give it a fighting chance like you care what the result is all of a sudden. What year did this start that you care about the damn poll?
I don't care what the total number is.
I know what the poll was. What I hate most about summer. That was a good poll. And it wasn't from Charlie B. either, by the way. It was from University Dodge, where Bo Camper used to work, I guess. Is that correct? Does he not work there anymore? No.
I don't know.
I don't know, and I don't care. What I do know is I got to think about him because the next story, the headline says, Mexican tycoon overtakes Bill Gates as the world's richest man. Yeah, see what I said? Mexican tycoon.
What word did you say?
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, Bo Camper will come on here around toast, and the Grieper will say, see, if there are people who ought to be fired in that building, it's not good people like Miguel, who are the good people who do a good job and do important things and a whole bunch of different stuff. No, not them. Not those cronies of Clarence. They're never going to get fired because they got the keys to the kingdom because they sleep with the program director. You suck, Clarence. How do you like that? You miserable piece of turd.
He's on vacation.
He's on vacation. Yeah.
I don't care. He still sucks. In fact, that's probably what he's doing. Microsoft founder Bill Gates looks to have lost his title as the world's richest man, toppled from the top spot by the Mexican telecoms tycoon, Carlos Slim, who is anything but, by the way. He's a fat-faced, bearded guy. 3 months ago, the cigar-chomping Mr. Slim quietly slipped past legendary U.S. investor Warren Buffett to take second place in the Global Wealth League. Aren't you impressed?
Whatever.
Now, thanks to a surge in the shares of his American Mobile group, Mr. Slim has claimed pole position. According to the Mexican online financial publication, Gentito, I don't know, it's screwed up. Ordinarily, I can read the Común.
I don't know.
Would that be right? It's got an acento over the second O.
Jamón.
It was. Oh no, I'm sorry, Sentido Común. It was Sentido Común's founder, Eduardo Garcia, who highlighted Mr. Slim's rapidly rising wealth in April. Sentido Común. Does that mean something or not?
Not to me.
Oh. Although by his calculations, the Mexican not only had beaten Mr. Buffett in the wealth stakes, but by then had edged past Mr. Gates. V. Gates. Now, however, Mr. Garcia says there is no doubt the little-known Mexican has finally captured the coveted top slot following a surge in American Mobile's shares over the second quarter. This is estimated to have boosted his fortune to an estimated $67.8 billion, equivalent to 8% of Mexico's entire gross domestic product, compared with $59.2 billion for your favorite Bill Gates. $67.8 billion. I mean, can anybody even fathom what all that means, huh? Can you imagine how much fun you could have at Woodbine every day with that? Oh, you know what movie was on again yesterday? It's a great movie, Owning Mahoney, with Philip Seymour Schwartzhoff and Tyler Moore.
That's right.
God, is that a good movie. And it's a true story, and it was right here in Toronto, eh?
I told you about it.
You did tell me. In fact, I think, did you send it to me or what? Or did I...
Possibly.
Something.
I'm not sure. But I told you about it. It was running around on cable, and I think
it was very good.
Yes,
well, this was on cable again yesterday, and so he didn't have a gambling problem. He had a money problem.
Right.
That's right. So anybody out there thinks I got a gambling problem, watch that movie. Then you'll see what a gambling problem is.
That's right.
Okay. He had a little bit of a problem.
Right. You don't have a problem if you can afford it.
Right. 686 votes on the poll. Now, what is Chris thinking? You thinking 1,000 a day on a day when I sound like this?
Yeah, they'll feel bad for you and fill in on the uphold.
The sympathy vote? Yeah, let's make it 1,000 a day so I feel a little bit better.
All right.
If you cannot find Osama bomber rack, if the markets are a drama bomber rack, if the terrorists are frisky, Pakistan is looking shifty, North Korea is too risky, bomber rack. If we have no allies with us, bomber rack. If we think that someone's dissed us, bomber rack. So to hell with the inspections, let's look up for the elections, close your mind and take directions, bomber rack. Fall in line and follow orders, bomber rack. For our might exceeds our borders, bomber rack. Disagree, we'll call it treason. Let's make war, not love the season, even if we have no reason, bomber rack.
Or let's bomb everybody else, okay? If we don't like them, let's bomb France. We're pissed off at them with them freedom fries and stuff like that. How do you like when Michael Moore says he was ready to forget about the freedom fries? In Sicko? You did see it now, right?
Yeah, of course I saw it. I sent you the copy of it.
That's correct. You also sent me the copy of Spider-Man 3, and I still say it
sucked. Maybe you'll finish it.
No.
Okay.
It just, I'm sorry. I mean, why should I be sorry? If I liked it, I would have told you. Why would I lie about it?
Don't be sorry.
I mean, it would be like my saying that Robert Grieper deserves to be there and Miguel should have been fired, some idiotic thing like that. You see, the people who cause the most problems and cause the most trouble and the people who are the most duplicitous and two-faced and backstabbing and make up crap, like, for example, number 9, people like that, they stay there forever. And the people who really, try to do a good job and get along with everybody and help out in a variety of ways, they get stabbed in the back because, like you said, it's the Raleigh connection. And by the way, Jolly Joe, Miguel, should I really say it on the air or not? I mean, Miguel said I was right. Well, you said the same thing. I was right.
I said it on the air.
They're on to you, Jolly Joe, okay? You fat ass. They're all on to you. And Hank was right, too, by the way. Just when things look darkest for I. Lewis Scooter Libby, when treason seemed all but certain, President Bush wiped away the former White House's aide's 2.5-year sentence in the CIA leak case. It's enough to make me want to go and leak right now. Bush's move came just 5 hours after a federal appeals panel ruled that Libby couldn't delay his prison term. His prospects for an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court seemed bleak. The former chief of staff to Vice President Dick Cheney, Libby was just waiting for a date to surrender. After months of sidestepping pardon questions, Bush stepped in, where others feared to tread. He didn't issue a pardon, but erased a prison sentence that he felt was just too harsh. For him, anyway, for the Scooter. I respect the jury's verdict, Bush said in a written statement, but I've concluded the prison sentence given to Mr. Libby is excessive. Therefore, I'm commuting the portion of Mr. Libby's sentence that required him to spend 30 months in prison. How many?
About 30, man.
Special Prosecutor Patrick Fitzgerald disputed the president's assertion that the prison term was excessive. Libby was sentenced under the same laws as other criminals, Fitzgerald said. It's fundamental to the rule of law that all citizens stand before the bar of justice as equals. Remember that, the rule of law that we used to have before these Nazis stole 2 elections?
I'm afraid I don't remember.
Oh, well, it's so long ago,
I know.
Libby's attorney, Theodore Wells, said in a statement that the Libby family was grateful for Bush's action and continued to believe in his innocence. Right. Because he wasn't pardoned, Libby remains the highest-ranking White House official convicted of a crime since the Iran-Contra affair, but he won't have to serve a single day in prison, a fact that his friends cheered, even those who'd wish he'd receive a full pardon. That's fantastic. It's a great relief, said former Ambassador Richard Carlson, who helped raise millions for Libby's defense fund. Scooter Libby did not deserve to go to prison, and I'm glad the president had the courage to do this. And, of course, the president and the vice president, they're the ones that belong in prison. We know that. And the people in the media who've covered up for their shenanigans, they all belong on death row. Though the leak investigation is complete, nobody will have to serve prison time. The scandal that has loomed over the Bush administration for years did not subside. Democrats were enraged. Libby's conviction was the one faint glimmer of accountability for White House efforts to manipulate intelligence, and silence critics of the Iraq War, said Senate Majority Leader Harry Limp-Wristed Reid. Now even that small bit of justice has been undone. That useless bitch, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, said Bush's decision showed the president condones criminal conduct. Oh, would that be like lying about and then going and invading another country and occupying it and things like that, and butchering hundreds of thousands of people, stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit.
The president left intact a $250,000 fine for 2 years and 2 years probation for his conviction of lying and obstructing justice in the probe into the leak of a CIA operative's identity. The former operative, Valerie Plame, contends the White House was trying. I mean, why do they write this crap? Claims that we're trying to discredit her former husband, Joseph Wilson, as if we don't know, as if even a baby with a rattle nose. Claims. And this is from Capitol Hill Blue. That's supposed to tell it like it is. Congress ought to investigate whether or not the president himself is a participant in the obstruction of justice, Wilson told the Santa Fe New Mexican. Wilson, Plame, and their children moved to Santa Fe earlier this year. Do you know the way to Santa Fe?
That way.
The president has utterly subverted the rule of law and the system of justice that's undergirded this country of ours for the past 220 years, Joe Wilson said on NBC's Today Show this morning. Bush said his actions still leaves in place a harsh punishment for Mr. Libby. Nobody was ever charged with a leak, including Deputy Secretary of State Richard Armitage or White House political advisor Karl Rove, who provided the information for the original article. Prosecutors said Libby obstructed the investigation by lying about how he learned about Plame and whom he told. Already at record lows in the polls, Bush risked a political backlash with his decision. President Ford, dead, tumbled in the polls after his 1974 partner Richard Nixon, and the decision was a factor in Ford's loss in the 1976 election to Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer, Jimmy Carter, who had lust in his heart. I got lust in my part, especially when I go to Abercrombie & Fitch. I think I'm just going to get a chair and put it right in, you know, where you walk into the store in the entrance.
Sure, like a lawn chair with a cup holder.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man, you go into that place and you just want to reach out and start doing stuff to people. I mean, stuff of a sexual nature, if I can say that. Can I say that?
No.
Oh. Well, that's what I'm thinking. Good golly, Miss Molly. Woo, man. I mean, people that, well, you know, you've seen those calendars.
Yep.
Well, when you see people who look like that in person, and then you think to yourself, God, there really are people like that who exist. Those aren't just, yeah, right. That's what I thought. Oh, there's a thing for Sicko, now playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I punched it up just as the blurb was ended. Just as the 703 votes on the poll. We got over 700 now. Is Chris thinking 1,000 maybe?
Of course. That's what I already said.
706. I would read it except for that number 2 choice on there. It takes half hour to read that damn thing. I mean, when one of the choices on the polls is longer than these bedtime stories I read, then you know, Charlie, that you're making the choices a little bit too long, okay, Charlie? You're making some of the choices a little bit too long, but that's okay. You know, not that we don't appreciate his fine efforts, right? Like we appreciate Kim Bokamper, for example. And Toast. Now, what's the date that he's going to be Toast? Did you read the article that I put on our website about...
No.
Huh?
No.
Well, that's right. You don't read any articles. I'm just saying, did you read it to yourself about Barry Jackass saying about Joe Rose? And
No, I did not.
And I guess, did it start this morning, Chris?
That they I believe it was starting next week, I think.
They're putting Sid the Kid on in the morning, one of the most obnoxious New Yorkers who ever came down the pike. That's with a P. That's with a P, by the way, Bo Camper. I said pike, not what you're going to say tomorrow morning. You know... The sad part of it is I've let so many things go that are so outrageous and unacceptable, like the O.J. golf tournament.
Yeah.
Don't you think I should have done something about that? Like sued their freaking ass?
Or something.
Yeah, I should have done something. Like maybe gone in and taken a dump on Greg Reed's desk. And then this thing with Bo Camper and the Toast and Grieper and this whole business with the coon business. Isn't that how that song goes? There's no business like coon business?
I never heard that version.
Well, Bo Camper will sing it to you tomorrow. And that's just, just one of those things. And then he gives him my phone number, and he has him call me. There is nothing worse than somebody who gives out your phone number without asking first, unless it was to Miguel. See, I put that in there to get you off the hook for old time's sake.
Apologized anyway. So.
You didn't have to apologize. Why wouldn't I want to talk to Miguel?
It's the principle of it.
Although I will say this, it's you always say the same thing. Are we going to feel sorry? Are you going to be okay? Life, well, what am I going to say? When a good guy gets screwed over and stabbed in the back and gets canned because they're going to bring one of their boyfriends from Raleigh or something. Now, do you know that for a fact that they're bringing somebody in from Raleigh?
He's already here.
He's already been here.
Oh, he's already there?
He had been here already, and they just decided to give him Miguel's job.
Talk about incestuous relationships. Good golly. Miss Molly.
Nice guy, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, we're not taking it out on him necessarily until he makes the first slip-up, until he farts the wrong flavor.
He's like 12 years old or something.
Is he really?
Maybe 16, I don't know.
Maybe that, yeah.
Is he cute? 21 before 11 at 560. I guarantee you one thing, you don't look like Miguel.
No.
Am I right about that?
Yes.
But then again, who the hell does? Although I'll say this, Miguel couldn't get a job at this Abercrombie & Fitch in the Eaton Center here. He couldn't get hired there. And he's a good-looking guy, but I got news for you. He's not even in the same category with the people that work in there. And you know how some people like to show off their goods? And like a guy will be like, he'll lift his shirt like halfway up and start rubbing his belly, you know, like he's got the itch, the fever, or something like that. The twitch. I was kind of twitching myself. Put that shirt back down, Pally, and stop. Stop flashing your goods unless you're serious. If you're serious, then flash some more. 709 on the poll. I think we're going to make 1,000 today, but that's going to make me feel a whole lot better. 20, did I give a schedule? No. Mad Dog at 2. 4, it's the Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog. Humper in Vegas, 5 to 7. Boy, talk about owning Mahoney. Dolphins All Access, 7 to 9. Jesse Agler's on from 9 to 9:30, because I got news for Eddie K ain't coming in for a half an hour. A guy like Eddie K, I mean, you think he's got, and I noticed that happened last night again, too. Same thing. Because the pregame doesn't start till 9:30 because they're playing on the West Coast at San Diego. They win or lose last night, Chris?
3-1 loss.
Oh. Marlins on deck at 9:30, and then Marlins at the Padres at 10:05 tonight.
Ill God?
Way down south, where the mugwumps go to hang from trees and play banjo. You got some who own a station on newfangled radio. Now as North Carolina goes, Raleigh's a big city, you know, and that's where the Beasleys had to go for Jolly Riley Joe. A new GM, he'll do what he can, shake your hand like a friend, then quickly walk away. They had Joe go to 560 with ratings in the toilet bowl to get those flaming sport homos in order and control. And then so Jolly Raleigh Joe, avuncular and in the know, he lets Mo go, and here's what blows, gives Geldy his own show. Ow! He'll make a big change and rearrange. It's worse or the same, he hasn't done a thing. For what goes on the air at 2, Joe don't have a stinking clue about a format that essentially blows sport hole radio. The GM of 560, Jolly Raleigh Joe.
Whose favorite line, by the way, is, I don't know what to tell you, Neil. I don't know what to say. Oh, boy. Well, what can I say? 722 votes on the poll today. We get, I think we got 1,000 licked. I think we're looking at, even right here on the dog days, even on the day before, the 4th of July, which poor George has to work tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever.
On the 4th of July.
It's all right. I'll fake my way through.
What do you think about that? You'll what?
I'll fake my way through.
Like I'm doing today?
Yeah,
I admit
even more
so. I'm doing a little bit better now, though. In the beginning, in that first half hour, wow, I could barely even make a squeak. John Linder is going to be on tomorrow morning for the boys, for Kenny and Bo, Lion Bo. And Chris was trying to explain to me who John Linder is. He works over in Naples, I guess.
Naples, Fort Myers, some other place. I don't even...
He's another Beasley flunky, or is he like really a sports guy?
That I have no idea. I've never heard of him until yesterday.
Well, wow, that'll be a real good reason to get up early tomorrow and tune in. I'm sure going to do that. Not. But anyway, he'll be on tomorrow morning. And then, George, thank God, man. You see, there is a God, okay? Give you that ball game tomorrow at 12:35, right. Yankees and the Twins. Yankees and the Twins, what the hell are we carrying that for? Oh, so you can get off early. Good. Like I said, we like that.
That's right.
10 to 12:35. You can handle that. You can just play a couple of stupid songs that you play
a couple of stupid songs, talk some crap. Nobody's going to call anyway.
And then we got Craig Mish and John Cope after the Yankee-Twins game, followed by baseball today with Shy Levy. Boy, it sure is a holiday tomorrow, man. I'll tell you that. Shy Levy. Don't be shy. Turn on the radio. And then the Marlin game tomorrow night. What an award-winning lineup that is. Nice going, Jolly Raleigh Joe. Bring in some more flunkies from Raleigh, why don't you, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of homeless people up there. Bring them on down. We can get Rod Roddy to come back to life, okay? Come on down. Who is doing the Prices Right? Are they showing reruns now or what? Did they hire somebody?
You asking me? I'll go see if we have any old people in the building that watch that.
And the rumor was, and it made me want to vomit, that they were going to put Rosie O'Donnell on to do that. Oh, my God. Can you imagine? I'd like to see that bitch get hit by that wheel.
Yeah,
you know?
that ain't going to happen.
When they spin the wheel. I'd like to see that and the 8 million pounds of fat, of blubbering fat, go flying all over the stage. Disgusting cow. Hey, Rosie.
You fairy.
Now, what's this fax? She's got 455 more Scooter Libby stories to read, including some scathing comments. You know me. Those are my favorite kind. Oh, this is a, nice, Markham, Ontario. This is a spam fax. Bastards. Spam fax. Don't you love those? It's not bad enough they get you on the phone and they get you on the internet. Now they get you on your freaking fax machine, man. They've been doing this for a long time. And usually on these it'll say, oh, I see, it does say, to remove your number from the list, please call this number, okay? I'm going to call the number. I'm going to, like, bitch him out. You maniac, get off my fax machine, man. Actually, I don't have the time to waste for that. I'd rather take a good nap. Like starting right now, George.
No.
Would be an excellent time.
Wake up.
7:27 on the
There's
poll.
the alarm.
This is from Raw's story. It says, President Bush didn't even consult with the Justice Department or Special Prosecutor Patrick Fitzgerald before commuting the sentence of former Chief of Staff to Dick Cheney, I. Lewis Scooter Libby, according to today's Washington Post. He also rebuffed anyone appealing from Libby, limiting discussion to a few close aides. For the first time in his presidency, Bush made a decision to commute a sentence without going through a process of writing requests to lawyers at the Justice Department, the Post said. He also didn't ask the chief prosecutor in the case, Patrick Fitzgerald, for his input, as routinely happens in cases routed through the Justice Department's pardon attorney. I beg your pardon. Bush, however, said in a statement that he carefully weighed the arguments for and against the pardon, apparently without actually getting information from the prosecutor about the case. Both critics and defenders of this investigation have made important points, Bush wrote. I've made my own evaluation in preparing for the decision I'm announcing today. He said, I've carefully weighed these arguments and the circumstances surrounding this case. We were all told to stay away from it, an old Bush friend from Texas told the Post. When we called over there, they said the president is well aware of the situation, so don't raise it. None of us lobbied him because they told us not to. One senior administration official said Bush quickly made his decision yesterday after hearing that the U.S. Court of Appeals had refused to keep Libby out of jail while his appeal ran its course. Pardon me. This source, who demanded anonymity to talk freely about the president's thinking, said there was comfort at the White House that the decision will not hurt him politically, despite the Democratic outcry. How can it hurt him politically when his approval rating starts with a minus, huh? Like the numbers across the street? Speaking of numbers, by the way, aren't you excited about Thursday morning?
Numbers? Or is it the book?
The trend.
Oh.
2/3 of the spring book.
Okay.
Thursday morning at 10. Amy says, if you have a chance, watch the movie 300. It's the best eye candy movie of the year. Now, didn't you tell me about that some time back?
Yeah, I don't think it's for you, though.
All of them that are buff and run around in bikinis, they're Spartans. Yummy, says Amy. I almost had to wear a bib.
Women like them. See, they're grown men with muscles. It's not for you.
Oh, what does that mean? Brady Quinn is a grown man with a muscle.
Okay, I'll send you a copy.
Of what? 300?
300, sure.
You said it's not for me. I'm not going to waste my time with it.
It's got a lot of torsos, a lot of rippling torsos.
Big deal.
Young,
okay, well,
good-looking
I'm glad you're getting your jollies, Amy. Good for you. Paul says, oh, I see. This is more about, very big into movies now, right? All these things.
Mm-hmm.
Paul says, I apologize. I should have explained myself further. The movie Zeitgeist is free and viewable online. It's evocative of the loose change and power of nightmares pieces you've extolled before. The difference here, I believe, is the way in which the information is presented. It's a quite interesting piece, underscores better than anything I've seen prior to just how religion is at the root cause of all the world's modern ills. What does that mean, modern ills, Paul? All through a history of mankind, not just modern ills, all-time ills. We'd be illin'. From that good old-time religion, baby, that's what it's all about. We'd be illin'. How wonderful this world could be.
Jay.
Without that good old-time religion. Get rid of it. Cut with the bubble mices, okay? Stop with the fairy tales. Stop with the big business crap. That's tax-free business, by the way. You'd be illin'. The world be illin' because of good old-time religion. Anybody who disputes that's a crazy person. 729 votes on the poll. Should I give the result? Because I don't mind doing it, but I just don't like reading that second one. Peace would have a better chance in the world if there were no religions to divide people, like somebody just said, 325. Makes sense to me. Sounds like it's making sense as usual. Now, here's the part I don't like. There will never be any such thing as peace. I'm not reading that all other crap. Why does he have to do that? Why does he have to, make a whole paragraph out of a choice on a poll, okay? Oh, hell, who are we kidding?
Yuck, yuck, Come on now. You can always change it, You can change the options.
What do you mean by that?
We do that time. We don't have to go with what he wrote.
No, I'm just reading the last part there. There will never be peace, 260. And that's the correct answer, obviously, although I voted for the first one because that's also correct. Until the U.S. learned to respect other countries' sovereignty, 69. Oh, we don't want to do that. That's no fun. We bomb Iran, 25. Everybody could just join hands and start a love train, 14. If we could buy the world a Coke and keep it company, 6. If people stop joining the military, 5. And anybody who joins the military now has got a death wish. And if armed dealers were outlawed, 3. That whole thing about armed, it's I've never been able to understand that, Of course, I don't subscribe to Soldier of Fortune. Maybe you do.
Not anymore. My subscription ran out. I didn't renew it,
I'll tell you one thing. People at QAM ought to be subscribing to Soldiers of Bad Fortune, of Ill Fortune. Especially since the Raleigh crew came in. Oh, boy. At IOD, Koch Broadcasting used to have, they called the Kansas City crew. That was Jim Gallant and a couple of other losers. I forget the other guy's name. It was the GM. Mike Abernathy. Never heard of those guys?
I've heard their names from you.
Losers. The Kansas City crowd. We got the Raleigh crowd, baby. 7:34 on the poll as we approach 11 o'clock. Are you kidding me? It's only 11 o'clock. And another thing, by the way, since they're firing people who aren't part of the sports fraternity and aren't part of the Raleigh fraternity, we got people in that sales department. I don't want to mention Hank Guerrero. The copy that he's got for his clients is older than when Jesus was a baby. I bet you Mary and Joseph read copy that was fresher than this, I bet you even Jesus' diapers were fresher than the stuff we get from them. But, don't complain now. Right?
Right.
Don't make any waves, okay? Because you could be next, mister. Let me tell you right now.
Who, me?
Anybody, and you fill in the blank. Unless you're Clarence's boyfriend.
This is the Neil Rogers Show.
You fairy.
This is your brain. Any questions?
No.
Soda and shampoo and coffee and water. Gel candles and teething rings for your daughter. Dump out that duty-free case of champagne. These are the things you can't take on a plane. Cheese whiz and hair gel and lip balm and toothpaste. Clear as silk for all of those zits on your face. You have that sunburn but no solar cane. That's one more thing you can't take on a plane. At the airport you'll be waiting. It may seem insane. While they make you throw out all of those things you cannot take on a plane.
That's what I wish my trip to Amsterdam would have been, duty-free, but, It's 11:01 at 560 WQM. We have 748 votes on Charlie B's award-winning poll. Oh, he sent a couple of pretty good ones today, as a matter of fact.
Yes, he did.
About old farts, and now that Bob Barker and Rick Shaw have hung it up, and he puts me on there, too, and also the Humper. Now, he says Hank is 67. Is he really 67?
I don't know.
I know he's a little older. I thought he was 65. 67. Jesus, God, is he old. But anyway. Oh, Andy Rooney is 88. And Paul Harvey's 88. And freaking Regis Philbin is 75. Roger Ebert, who's not looking too good, he's 65. And then another one that kind of and he left me out of this one. Why didn't he put me in there? Who's your favorite fat entertainer of all time?
Well, you could be on the formerly fat entertainer list.
184. Pretty good, huh?
I'll take it.
My blood sugar is sensational. As a matter of fact, see, when you get a good, I can come on here. I've done it 80 million times over the years, and, I'm going to get off of this and not do that. And you do it for a couple of days, and then you feel like, it's useless. And you go back to your old ways again. And the reason you go back to your old ways is because you're lucky enough that your body can sustain a tremendous amount of punishment. In my case, maybe it's the good genes. Who knows? And so you think you can do it forever.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I get that diabetic neuropathy there those 2 days, and that's the end of that. No more. So since that, what would it have been? This Thursday will be 2 weeks. Now, that's not a lifetime. It'll be 2 weeks that I've had no candy, no sugar, no ice cream. And these people, one of our MySpace guys, he's sending me stuff about low-carb ice cream, okay? Stop fooling yourself, okay, Pally? Oh, my God. I think it was Win, one of our MySpace regulars, sent me a thing. I know he's trying to be helpful, but if you're diabetic, forget about ice cream, okay? I've eaten enough ice cream in the last 3-4 years to fill a bathtub, to fill 100 bathtubs, to fill Grant's tomb. But nevertheless, just forget about it. Because once you start doing that other stuff, then you're going to want the real stuff, right?
Right.
It's like having sex with a blow-up doll. You know, after you do that enough,
I wouldn't know.
I'm told.
Oh.
Then you want somebody like for real, you know. 752 on Chris's poll. Chris is shooting for 1,000 a day, baby. He's going to be really flying high.
Exactly.
To get to 1,000. Can you just see Chris flying high? I can't even see him flying low.
Well, I just pictured one of those, like, was it World War II where they had those dirigibles tethered, you know, to...
Yeah. I'm sure you saw the Hindenburg, the announcer from Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, this is terrible.
Humanity.
Yeah. Here's some good news for you for a change. And by the way, thank you so much for those low gas prices, Mr. President, boy. I'd like to find that kid that called. That's about 2-3 years ago? Yeah, it's more than that because it was at the beginning of the Iraq attack, so it's got like 4 years now. 4 years, or is it now? Yeah, we just entered the 5th year. 5th year of this crap. They're dying like flies over there, and they're still analyzing, well, is the surge really working? Are we really going to have... oh, my God. The world is full of crazy people, okay? Beware. That's my warning to each and every one of you, okay? Beware of crazy people, especially if they're from Raleigh, North Carolina. Don't turn your back, Zach, and show your crack. Now, there was a guy on the sidewalk here the other day. You know, these homeless people, there's a lot of them in Toronto, which is very sad, because there's more money in the city than Carter's got liver pills. And this guy was like, and I know somebody's going to make a crack. There was a crack, as a matter of fact. He was bent down on the sidewalk with his ass up in the air, and his pantaloons were like down. You know what I mean? You could see the crack in his ass.
Plumber's crack, they call it.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, is this guy, I mean, he was really a nasty-looking old coot, too. You know, coot that was, by the way, Kimba. Coot, C-O-O-T. And I thought, is this guy, like, giving an engraved invitation, or what is that all about? And I ran by that. Oh, geez. Here's the good news. Court allows students anti-Bush T-shirt. And that's some great news. Let's hear it. Oh! All right. Putting its recent ruling on student speech into practice, the Supreme Court on Friday rejected a school district's appeal of a ruling that had violated a student's rights by censoring his anti-Bush T-shirt. A 7th grader from Vermont was suspended for wearing a shirt that bore images of cocaine and a martini glass, but also had messages calling President Bush a lying drunk driver who abused cocaine and marijuana, and the chicken hawk in chief who was engaged in a world domination tour. What's wrong with that? It's all true. After his suspension, Zachary Giles returned to school with duct tape covering the offending images. Williamstown Middle School Principal Kathleen Morris Courts said the images violated the school dress code, which prohibits clothing that promotes the use of drugs or booze, and appeals court said the school had no right to censor any part of the shirt. You're full of shirt. Yesterday, the court said schools could regulate student expression if it advocated illegal drug use. Judge Samuel Alito cautioned that schools should not censor political speech. How do you like that? Even Sam Alito said that. But that's America for today. Everything is censored, and the liar-in-chief, the butcher-in-chief, the son-of-a-bitch-in-chief, he's busy, pardoning convicted criminals. Because he decided that the sentence was excessive. He decided.
Well, he's the decider.
I was just waiting for that. Very good. He's the decider. 755 votes on Charlie B's award-winning poll. Not even a contest for 1,000 a day. Easy. Oh, pardon me. Speaking of that, let's get all these 400 or 500 stories, okay? If I can read them all. I got through 1 hour. Are we in the second hour, or am I like hyperventilating, hallucinating?
No, we're in the second hour.
Now, how was the first hour? Was it okay?
Oh, it was outstanding.
I don't remember what it was. I have no idea what happened.
It was award-winning.
Here's George. Following the reactions to reactions to President Bush's announcement that he's commuted the sentence of Scooter Libby, Melanie Sloan, legal counsel to Joe and Valerie Wilson, said, first, President Bush said any person who leaked would no longer work in his administration. Nonetheless, Scooter Libby didn't leave office until he was indicted, and Karl Rove works in the White House even today. More recently, the vice president ignored an executive order protecting classified information, claiming he isn't really part of the executive branch. Clearly, this is an administration that believes leaking classified information for political ends is justified, and that the law is whatever applies to other people. The law applies to other people, not to them. Let me say it again. The law applies only to other people.
I am above the law!
Right. Better get it straight, or you're going to Gitmo. Senator Barack Obama says, this decision to commute the sentence of a man who compromised our national security cements the legacy of an administration characterized by a politics of cynicism and division, one that's consistently placed itself and its ideology above the law. This is exactly the kind of politics we must change so we can begin restoring the American people's faith in government that puts the country's progress ahead of the bitter partisanship of recent years. That's what Barack Obama said. And by the way, did you mention yesterday that he's raised more than Swillery or anybody else?
No.
Well, he has.
Good.
The story was on our website.
Good.
In fact, I should have printed that out. Maybe I will during the break.
Should have.
He's raising zillions of dollars because that's your next president. I'm telling you right there, Barack Obama. In spite of all, and I understand that a lot of the closet racists out there, just like the Jew Lieberman anti-Gore vote in 2000, same thing. There'll be a lot of closet racists out there who'll vote against him because he's black. But you know what? He'll still win. And with McCain, faltering would be an understatement. And Giuliani looks like he's going to win by default on the other side.
Terror. That's all he's got, 9/11 terrorism.
And he's got more skeletons in his closet than Carter's got liver pills. Why do I keep saying that? Because I keep thinking of Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford pardoning Tricky Dick.
Liver.
Senator Chuck Schumer says, as Independence Day nears, we're reminded that one of the principles our forefathers fought for was equal justice under the law. The commutation completely tramples on that principle. I know when I was in school I wanted to trample on the principle. I'm not really sure why. Harry Reid says the president's decision to commute Mr. Libby's sentence is disgraceful. Libby's conviction was one of the faint. I've already read that before. I want to faint when I think about Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi. Weak. John Edwards says only a president clinically incapable of understanding that mistakes have consequences could take the action he did. President Bush has sent just exactly the wrong signal to the country and the world. In George Bush's America, it's apparently okay to misuse intelligence for political gain, mislead prosecutors, and lie to the FBI. George Bush and his cronies think they're above the law, and the rest of us live with the consequences. The cause of equal justice in America took a serious blow today, he said. Oh, let's see what... Oh, look at this. Fred Thompson says, I'm very happy for Scooter Libby. I know this is a great relief to him, his wife, and children. While for a long time I've urged a pardon for Scooter, I respect the president's decision. This will allow a good American who's done a lot for his country to resume his life. All right. Oh, my God. Hillary says, today's decision is yet another example that this administration simply considers itself above the law. This case arose from the administration's politicization of our national security intelligence and its efforts to punish those who spoke out against its policies. 4 years into the Iraq War, Americans are still living with the consequences of this White House's efforts to quell dissent. The commutation sends the clear signal that in this administration, cronyism and ideology trump competence and justice. And by the way, nice job, Michael Moore, in outing Hillary selling out to the pharmaceuticals and the medical establishment. In the movie Sicko. You notice that?
Yes,
when in doubt, Hillary sold out. Rudy Giuliani says, after evaluating the facts, the president came to a reasonable decision, and I believe the decision was correct. That's what Rudy Giuliani says. You piece of turd, you phony, you philandering piece of garbage. 758 on the poll. Let's get that 1,000 today so we don't have to go into a big sweat.
Here she comes, walking down the street. In 2008 she wants to be the nominee. Hey, hey, she is Hillary. Her husband used to sleep around. She's too busy campaigning to worry about the cheating clown. Hey, hey, she is Hillary. She'll be shaking hands around the town. The White House she's desiring. She is Washington bound. She just wants to be president. Republican she thinks she can beat. But they don't want no more Clintons on the Pennsylvania Avenue Street.
11:17 at 560 WQM. Joe says, so much for Clinton's controversial pardons after your recent episode with Volkamper. I'm wondering if that was really him and Mandich in the Cooking with Mandich show back during the WID days. Have a great 4th. Well, what does that mean?
I was hoping you could tell me.
I'm wondering if that was really him and Mandich in the Cooking with Mandich show back...
Is that a joke? Was there a show like that? I don't know what they're talking about.
Wasn't that a Phil thing?
I don't know.
Rings
no bell.
I don't know what you're talking about, Joe, but have a great 4th. And I was going to say don't drink too much, but you already got a good start. 767, man. It's not bad flying one, and that's what we got on the pool. Now, here's a fact. It says, just to stir up crap, did Neil or George mention Tom Jicka's article about the Fairness Doctrine in Monday's Sun Sentinel? He uses it to take a shot at your show. Thought I might kill a minute or two. Thank you, whoever that is. And so here's Tommy's story. Not that I should read it, though, because Tom Jicka hates that. He wants me to go back to the fun and entertainment days, which might not be a bad thing. He says, so you don't like the show, Tom? Well, guess what? I really don't care. I don't care, Tom. I'm doing just fine. How you doing, Tom? Tom Jicka writes in yesterday's Scum Sentinel, who could be against fairness? Keeping in mind, of course, that Tom Jicka's politics are to the right of Attila the Hun, but nevertheless, who could be against fairness? Anybody with a brain should be, in one important instance. Some liberals are so chagrined by the dominance of conservative talk radio, they're advocating a drastic measure to thwart the right. Those evil liberals, those commie-pinko liberals, baby. Unable to win the battle of the airwaves against Rush Limbaugh and other conservative hosts. And it's interesting that he neglects to mention that on this show we beat the snot out of Rush virtually every trend, every book for years and years and years. Doesn't mention that. Who prosper while liberal-era America struggles to stay afloat. Some on the left are advocating a reinstitution of the Fairness Doctrine, which 20 years ago was eliminated as no longer necessary due to the explosion of outlets for expressing opinions, and this was before the Internet. See, I happen to agree with him on that. I think the Fairness Doctrine is crap. But nevertheless, he goes on to say, theoretically, the Fairness Doctrine sounds like laudable policy. It obligated broadcasters to present all sides of controversial issues. In practice, it didn't work so well. Rather than being forced to open the airwaves to anyone who had a contrarian viewpoint, broadcasters steered clear of issues for the most part. The exceptions were saccharine public affairs shows that aired in the middle of the night or on Sunday mornings when nobody was listening, when everybody was schluffing. The elimination of the Fairness Doctrine opened the way for in-your-face talk shows of today. Bringing it back probably would end them. If the Fairness Doctrine were reinstated, any station carrying Rush would be obligated to offer time to counter everything he said, like the truth. A station with 3 or 4 conservative hosts would have to carve out several hours daily for rebuttals. This wouldn't happen. The more expedient solution would be a return to the not-so-good old days by dropping talk in favor of less controversial formats. A recent study released by the Center for American Progress, an organization headed by former Bill Clinton Chief of Staff John Podesta, found that roughly 90% of all issues-oriented talk radio is conservative. With far less to lose, it's easy to understand why the left would love to do anything that would eradicate talk radio. Oh, my God. The evil left. However, they haven't considered the double-edged sword that they would be forging. Conservative talk might be neutralized by angry right-wingers, would be sure to retaliate. National Public Radio would be a juicy target. And we know how liberal NPR is now, right?
Oh, scathing.
Oh, pardon me. Loopy far-right host Michael Savage said on his program that with nothing else to do, he would sit at home monitoring the broadcast TV morning shows and newscasts, demanding an opportunity to speak against anything he perceived to be slanted left. How far he would get is debatable, but he could make enough of a nuisance of himself to have an impact. Closer to home, here comes the good part, closer to home, conservatives could demand time to present opposing viewpoints to the barrage of leftist talking points Neil Rogers reads every day. Rogers would probably be forced to go back to his old fun and entertainment ways, which might not be a bad thing, Tommy says. I'll get back to that when I finish reading the swill. Which might not be a bad thing. Yeah, we need your programming help on the show badly, Tom. We're floundering. I can't scrape 2 nickels together to buy a stick of gum. For the most part, the dirty work of championing a new fairness doctrine has been done by groups like the Center for American Progress, whose names camouflage their partisanship. However, 8 days ago, Senator Dianne Feinstein became the most important politician to endorse at least examining the reimposition of the fairness doctrine. Responding to a question from Chris Wallace on Fox Sunday morning, which I'm sure Tom watches religiously, Feinstein said, in my view, talk radio tends to be one-sided. It also tends to be dwelling on hyperbole. It's explosive. It pushes people to, I think, extreme views without a lot of information. Pressed by Wallace about whether she's for bringing back the fairness doctrine, Feinstein said, well, I'm looking at it. Yeah, well, this finger's up in the air here, the middle digit's up in the air. Look at that, Diane. This was red meat to conservative hosts who have been keeping their listeners fired up about this threat, even though, practically speaking, they know there's no chance of it happening for at least the rest of Bush's term. Another reason to think Democrats are being short-sighted is that Republicans are disaffected as never before because of the immigration bill, on top of all the other issues they have with Bush and their representatives. This was manifested in 2006 when enough of them sat on their hands to be a factor of turning Congress over to the Democrats. They might even be angry enough not to care if the White House also goes back to the other side in 2008, but there's nothing like a threat to have Rush and their other favorites taken away from them to get them back to the polls in record numbers. Right. Attaboy, Tom. That's what, get your people out there, Tommy, in record numbers. We're going to take Rush away from you, and all his pills, too. Attaboy. But getting back to that one ridiculous paragraph, on closer to home, conservatives could demand time to present opposing viewpoints to the barrage of leftist talking points Neil Rogers reads every day.
You commie.
Commie pinko faggot, don't forget that part. Rogers would probably be forced to go back to his old fun and entertainment ways, which might not be a bad thing. You know something, Tommy? That would be fine if, A, there were any callers that we could talk to, but that part of the business is long gone, and B, we could play the entertaining stuff that we used to be able to, 95% of which we can't play no more, as you well know, Tommy, but you don't want to put that in there. All you want to do is take a cheap shot, which is fine, you idiot. I mean, far be it for me to start getting involved in that kind of crap, you know what I'm saying?
What are you
calling
saying?
Names like jackass, fool, idiot. And one thing about Tom, that never changes. So thanks for the, at least he mentioned me. That's good. That's first time in a long time. Thanks so much, Tommy. Go back to those. He doesn't like the show the way it is now. He doesn't like those articles, okay? Because they don't fit in with his right-wing political crap. And so the fact that we got Rush on here, he already said 90% of the talk radio is right-wing. That's not enough for Tom, okay? So it's just like those people that used to call, oh, Neil, you used to be so funny. Every time there'd be a hot political issue, and I would take, the liberal side of it. Oh, people are going to be really upset with you if you do that, Neil. A lot of us are going to be. Too bad. Just a really transparent tactic to try to shut up people who have a point of view that you don't want to hear. Tom. Anyway. That's your buddy, Tom Jicka.
My close buddy.
Your close personal buddy.
Mm-hmm. Racetrack buddy.
Who, of course, and also he just happens to be a casual friend of Hank Goldberg. Remember that article last week? Yeah. Casual friend. No, you were, I think that was the day you were out sick.
No, I heard that.
Yeah, casual friend.
I still don't know what that means.
That was a disclaimer because
I
Hank
know.
was the article was about whether Hank is going to get not renewed at the end of the year, and are they going to move Mandich back to 4 to 7, which of course would be an idiotic move. But and of course that would probably be the move they would make. Because if it doesn't make sense, that's what they do. If it makes no sense at all, if it failed once, let's make sure it fails again. That's Jolly Joe and his Raleigh crew. So they brought a ringer in from Raleigh, and they stabbed Miguel in the back, and they gave him Miguel's job. Well, he was
already here. I guess they didn't have enough for him to do, so they gave him
right.
Miguel's
That's
job.
right. I was just about to say before you interrupted very rudely.
Sorry.
Pardon you.
Thank you.
That they had to find something for this guy to do, and so they made a job for him by firing Miguel, who never stole a freight train, who'd been there for many, many years, who was a good guy, who,
Sure. Multi-talented, multi-useful.
Right. 787 on the pull. We're going to have way over 800. We're going to make our 1,000 today in spite of clearance.
Neil
I turned 13 on my last birthday. Daddy bought me a doll, and he told me to play. I wonder what Daddy'd say if he knew I got 69 emails today. 'Cause my name, my age, my face is posted on MySpace.
I got out of prison, in 1982. Well, I was caught at the playground with a kid or two. Now I use the net, email them today, and tomorrow I'm wet. 'Cause her name, her age, her face is posted on
my face. Hey, baby. You know, you're really mature for your age. How about we meet in person? Get off this silly chat. I'll bring you beer and smokes. Well, now don't tell your mama. She doesn't understand your needs. I tell you what, baby, we'll have a real good time. You got a real pretty smile, you know that? Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's meet at the mall. Oh, near the video shop. Well, just don't tell your folks. And especially don't tell the cops, yeah. Whoa!
He said I'm one in a million.
That's right.
Oral ain't sex as President Bill. My name, my age, my face, posted on MySpace. MySpace.
Yeah,
He voiced his tallywhacker in all the wrong places. He's shredded now. Didn't know I wore braces.
I guess little Tommy would like it better if I started reading right-wing articles. Then reading stories on the air wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, what if they were all like right-wing garbage?
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. 798 in the poll. We're going to be way, way over 800 by the top of the hour. That's pretty exciting news. Not. Well, that's the third. It's El Trace, what is it? El Trace de Julio?
C.
Now, this fax that we just got, is this a joke or what? Or maybe they're not listening? Is that possible?
It's possible.
Neil and George, you have to see this movie. The link is long. I know you can actually also find the film by Googling Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist. An hour and 56 long. If you like loose change, you will love this film. It says, whoever sent this in, thank you so much, but we just got through going through all of this with somebody else, with Paul.
Mm-hmm.
It shows how everything is bullshit. Religion, government, finance. Tom Jicka. The powerful are those who know the truth, but use the myth against those who don't. And here's the link below. Well, what do we need the link for when we can go to Zeitgeist?
Right.
So I guess, maybe we'll watch it. In fact, maybe we'll put it on a link to it on our website. Wouldn't that be a good idea, neilrogers.com?
Sure.
Maybe Eric would do that.
I bet you he would.
You think? He might put a link? Or would that stink? Expect airport delays during the holiday journey, says the Herald. If you're traveling on the 4th of July tomorrow, first of all, you're probably a crazy person. That's number one. Be prepared for more security at the airport and more traffic on the roads. Airports in South Florida carrying out random vehicle checks and heightening security in the aftermath of the Glasgow airport terrorist incident in Scotland, and passengers traveling over the 4th of July are advised to arrive extra early. Highways are also expected to be busy as the AAA predicts a record turnout of drivers amid a slight easing in gas prices and strong travel demand. A slight, like about what, 2 cents? The nationwide terror alert at South Florida airports remains at orange as it was before the recent failed car bomb attacks in Glasgow and London. However, Lauren Stover, Dade Aviation Assistant Director for Security and Communications, said she began elevating security as soon as she received word of the attempt in Scotland. I got an idea for Tom Jicka, okay?
Yeah.
Hi there, boys and girls. Today, we've got a very extra special friend stopping by.
Oh, can't play that. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play like 3 or 4 notes of everything that we can't play anymore.
All right.
If we go back to those entertaining days.
My anus.
Oh, we can't play that.
No, not even that much.
Why not?
Because of his
anus.
anus.
Like a little, huh?
Sure, because it smells.
A little anus? Oh. Well, so does Tom's column. The nationwide terror alert, I just got through saying it. Miami International has added more canine patrols, boosted its police presence, and started random vehicle checks. And at Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, deputies from the BSO are working around the clock to randomly pull over cars, buses, trucks, and taxis. The checks started Saturday, and checkpoints will be moved to different terminals throughout the week. Heightened police presence was visible at both airports yesterday. There's no threat we're aware of. This is totally proactive, said Chief Roy Lidicott, who runs airport operations for the BSO. We're checking for anything out of the ordinary, he said. Travelers are typically asked for their flight information and vehicle registration. If deputies see anything suspicious, they'll take a look at the truck and have a canine dog sniff the luggage in your crotch. I'm glad to see them here, said Andrew DiNardo of Coral Springs, dropping off a friend in the morning. We have to do what we can. I don't mind being delayed if it's for my safety. Attaboy, Andy. Buy into it, baby. We're all in great mortal fear. The only thing we have to fear is the Nazi regime. That's what we have to fear. But, you know, passengers should allow as much as a half hour extra to get through security checkpoints, said Mike Irwin, the TSA's acting federal security director for MIA. And the rules about checking bottles of gels and liquids still apply. Bring those little plastic things, those little baggies. Throw the drugs down the toilet and bring the baggies for that stuff. That's what the Sigourney Weaver's going to do. She's going to throw out the good stuff.
All right.
Each day this holiday week, about 88 to 90,000 passengers expected to travel through MIA. And in Fort Lauderdale, an estimated 400,000 travelers will pass through during the week beginning last Thursday. However, that volume at both airports is not much higher than usual, possibly because the 4th of July falls in the middle of the week this year. What a bunch of crap that is, too, you know?
Yeah.
Now, maybe you can straighten my ugly ass out on this, but
I've tried.
I get very confused. And in fact, I wasn't really sure that yesterday wasn't a holiday for people. Because don't a lot of holidays, if it falls like on, you know, like on a Thursday or on a weekend day, don't people get the Monday off?
I don't know. You know, we're in radio. We don't get any of the days off.
You don't get any of the days off. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I say, yeah.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
But how does that work? I mean, the 4th is like on a Wednesday this year, which is really bad. Whoever made the calendar this year really
sucks. Most people don't work.
Remake the calendar,
tomorrow.
okay?
Right. Tomorrow, most people don't work.
Yeah, but it's in the middle of the week.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't do anybody any good. People like to take, you know, those 3 or 4 day holiday weekends. That's what I'm trying to get.
I bet you they'll take the day anyway.
Obviously, not doing a very good job.
They'll take the day anyway. Now, some holidays, no, you're right. They're flexible, so they move them to the appropriate nearest weekend.
That is correct. Like if the holiday falls on
not
Saturday,
this one.
Then they celebrate it on Monday, and so people take off on Friday, and they make a 4-day weekend out of it very often. Unless I'm wrong. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not, but not this time.
It might be hard to celebrate the 4th of July on, like, the 6th.
Oh, pardon me. Well, what does that mean?
Because it's called the 4th of July.
Well, that never stopped them before.
Do they move Cinco de Mayo?
If it falls on a Saturday or Sunday, then Monday is a holiday. I'm smelling you right now, mister. And believe me, it ain't a good aroma. Puts me in a coma. Anyway, the AAA estimates that a record 41.1 million Americans will leave home this holiday weekend. Now, what is the date on this? This is today's. I don't understand. This holiday weekend or this holiday week? I see. Excuse me. Who wrote this? Ina Paiva Cordel. Excuse me, Ina. About 34.7 million travelers, or 84% of all holiday vacations, are expected to drive, a 0.7% increase from the 34.5 million drove a year ago. The greatest number of 4th of July auto travelers, 8.9 million, will originate in the southeast. In the southeast.
Oh, my God.
The projected boost is partly due to the recent dip in gas prices. The national average of $2.96 a gallon for a self-serve regular is down 23 cents from a month ago. What a bargain. Thank you, Mr. President, for those bargain basement gas prices.
The worst talk radio I've ever heard in my life was on
560 WQAM.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't it be nice if they found Chandra sitting in a chaise chair drinking booze? Wouldn't it be nice if they found Chandra sporting one of those computer dues? Then this whole ugly mess would be history. We finally put an end to this mystery. Wouldn't it be nice if they found Chandra eating caviar and Munster cheese? Wouldn't it be nice if they found Chandra hiring a hitman in Belize? She could tell us about Gary's Winky as she laughed and held up her pinky. Wouldn't it be nice?
It would be very nice. It's 11:45 at 560 WQM. We got Mad Dog at 2, and then the Humper comes in. And then we got that Dolphins All Access at 7 o'clock. The Humper actually ain't coming in because he's in Vegas, but he will be on the Power Hour 4 to 5. Is that correct? Yes?
Yes, okay. As far as we know.
And Jesse Agler 9 to 9:30, because like I said, a high-paid guy like Eddie K, he ain't coming in to do a half an hour before a ball game. Especially on the eve of the 4th of July. No Jew comes in on the 4th of July and for half an hour. So Joe comes back and says, Cooking with Mandich was a Phil Henry bit. Now, isn't that what I said?
Yep.
And it was hilarious. Mandich was the chef, and Bill Kemper did his best to screw up the recipe while sounding like a dumb jock named Lefty. Oh, Bo Camper sounding like a dumb jock. He must have had work hard to do that. Those days at WIOD were the best, Joe says. And too bad about Phil, and also too bad about Miguel.
Are you sure?
Yeah, at least the last part. Oh, thank you, Joe, whatever you're talking about. What is he talking about? I don't know. Well, he's living in the past like a lot of other people, like little Tommy Jicka, you know?
For what it's worth, we have that.
We have what?
Cooking with Mandich, Jim Mandich.
It's in the thing?
No, I have the CD. I have the best of Phil Hendry.
Is it good enough that we want to play it?
I've never heard it or heard of it.
You never heard of it?
Of it until now. I think I listened to the CD.
Do you have it?
I have it. I'm holding it. There it is.
Well, you're holding a case or you're holding a CD?
Both.
So, in other words, if I said, well, let's play a little bit of it right now, you couldn't do it because you got it in the case?
Well, you'd have to stall a little bit more than that, yeah.
824 votes on the world-famous Charlie B. poll. Peace would have a better shot in the world if chickens peed.
Long enough. That was long enough.
Okay, let's hear just a little bit. Then we'll decide.
The Phil Hendry Show now presents Cooking with Mandich and Bo Camper.
Greatest football team. We take the ball.
Another tasty recipe from the cookbook of Jim Mandich, former Dolphin great, and Kim Bocamper, former Dolphin great.
And when you
current broadcasting great.
You're talking Super Bowl.
Now let's go into the kitchen with Jim Mandich and Kim Bocamper.
Good evening, everyone. This is Jim Mandich, and we're in the WIOD. That's right, Kim. Just cut that in a very, very fine.
Sounds like Bob
there.
Green.
Those are celery sticks that we're going to be using, and I like celery. A lot of people badmouth celery. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to bang on this all year. I like celery. Anybody badmouth celery in front of me, and I'll tell you, friend, you're going to be disappointed. Jim, you doing all right with that?
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know, I really like celery, too.
All right, we don't want your opinion. I'm just asking you, are you cutting the celery up?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, Jim.
All right. Kim Bocamper, great Dolphin. Now, the other thing that we're going to do tonight is we're going to have...
Well, what about me?
What do you mean, what about you?
What about the Kim Bocamper recipe that you said we were going to be able to do?
Okay, I think that's enough. Now, how'd you like it?
What?
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't say that right.
You like it?
No.
Oh, I didn't either. That's why I said that's enough. Goldman's by rights to OJ book. Oh, no. What?
That's funny and, I don't know, sick and ironic. I don't know.
Ironic, yeah, but if you listen to the story, maybe you'll be able to pass better judgment on it, or maybe just pass a little gas.
Right, or just pass altogether.
I'm ready to.
Pass
Here's
out.
George for the next 2 hours.
Hey, everybody.
The family of Ron Goldman has purchased the rights to O.J. Simpson's canceled book, If I Did It. Appointed back, the book rights will be held in the name of Ron Goldman, LLC. Goldman family attorney David Cook said, pardon me. Goldman was slain along with Simpson's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, in 1994. The former football star has maintained his innocence because he's a lying butcher and murderer. He was acquitted of murder, but Goldman's family won a civil wrongful death case against him, now totaling more than $33 million. Ron Goldman, LLC, will own Simpson's name, likeness, signature, and story, and will hawk it to satisfy this terrible judgment. Justice has arrived in Miami, Cook said. The Goldmans own the copyright, media rights, and movie rights. They also acquired Simpson's name, likeness, life story, and right of publicity in connection with the book. The Goldmans want to rename the book Confessions of a Double Murderer and plan to shop it around, Cook said. My mama told me you better shop around.
Wow.
Isn't that what Mama said? You better shop around?
She said it twice.
It's a miracle. According to the settlement, the Goldmans must pay the bankruptcy trustee 10% of the first $4 million in gross proceeds and a percentage of all proceeds beyond that. Well, at least they're going to get something. A little something. Better shop around, baby.
She said, son, you're growing up now.
Oh, pardon me again.
Pretty soon you'll take a bride.
And then she said.
And then she said, just because you become a young man now.
Simpson's lawyer, Yale L. Galanter, which sounds like Yenta to me, Yale Yenta, said the bankruptcy trustee doesn't have the right to sell anything on behalf of his client. Last month, U.S. bankruptcy judge A.J. Crystal paved the way. I wonder if he's kin to A.J. Dewey. Paved the way for Monday's settlement by upholding the Goldmans' right to their claim. He also ruled that a company started by Simpson's daughter, Arnell, was set up to perpetuate fraud. Huh. Lorraine Brooke Associates, which own the right to the book, can be considered as belonging to the former football star, Crystal said. O.J. Simpson's book contract with HarperCollins and a money trail showing $630,000 transferred from the publisher to Lorraine Book and then to Simpson for his expenses confirm his connection to the company, Crystal said. $630,000. Telephone or email messages left for Kendrick Whittle, the attorney for Simpson's daughter, and independent trustee Drew Dilworth were not immediately returned Monday night. I wonder if Drew Dilworth is kin to Dwayne Dilworth, the old-time harness driver in Jackson Harness Raceway in Jackson, Michigan. Dwayne Dilworth.
Maybe. Who?
And here comes Chief Osceola on the far outside, $51 to win. Do you know how many years ago that was? Chief Osceola, driven by Dwayne Dilworth. It was 100 years ago, man, and I was there at Jackson Harness Raceway. And here comes Clarence Ayotte on the inside, sneaking up along the rail. What is this man talking about? Does anybody know? Not even me. If I don't know, how the hell could you know? I like doing that. I like just, because I'm a rambling guy. And Tommy Jicka thinks that's like more entertaining than reading those stupid stories, although I'm sure he's pleased that I read his story. And he happens to be right. The fairness doctrine is idiotic. In other words, if I say it's 2 o'clock, we got to bring on somebody that says it's like 1 o'clock, because in the central time zone it is, and we only wish it were 2 o'clock. Oh, God. There he goes again. I know. It's pretty rough when you only got to work 2 days a week, and one day you get 2 hours sleep and you feel like crap. But that's the way life goes. There are issues. George tells me he's got issues every day.
Yeah.
But thank God, I only have issues once in a great while.
Well,
like
you're not married, are you?
I'm just too old to be a parent. You know what I mean?
Apparently.
In fact, no matter how old I was, I never would have been a good parent. It's a good thing I'm an old fag. I never would have been good at it.
You don't know that.
Huh?
You don't know that.
I do know that.
No.
I worry too much. I just can't deal with that kind of business.
Well, that might make you a good parent.
No, it does not make you good. You know what it makes you? A nervous wreck.
Uh-huh.
Which is really Drek. By the way, does he still work there, Todd Drek?
Yes.
And P.D. Lenny, has he had an incredible impact on this show since he came back? It's the people that leave and then they come back, like P.D. Lenny.
Mm-hmm.
And who was the other one?
Gary Sarner.
Oh, no, not Gary Sarner. Well, Gary Sarner, he's left
like
and come
twice,
back
100
times.
Sure. Brian
And who's the other one? Brian Schmutz. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to forget about him. But I'm going to tell you something. This other guy, now, didn't they bring this guy in from Raleigh also, this Hank Guerrero? Where do they find him? In a bus bench?
I believe you're right.
Yeah, he's another loser they brought in. He would know a piece of copy if they made toilet paper, if they made the whole roll into a commercial copy. He wouldn't recognize it. He is pathetic. And yet Miguel gets canned. They got so many losers running around in that joint. And but if you're from Raleigh, if you're one of the Jolly Joe clan, then you got a job for life. And if you don't like your job, we'll fire somebody to make a better job for you. How do you like that? We're pretty pissed off about our good buddy Miguel getting stabbed in the back, okay, for many reasons. First of all, he actually spoke English. It's probably because he was born in Chicago, but nevertheless. I mean, weren't you kind of shocked?
Yeah, actually.
I mean, with this crew, almost nothing shocks me, but that shocked the hell out of me. Clarence calls me up. He calls me up at home to tell me about it on a Thursday night. 8:45 in the evening, calls me up to lay the bad news, to destroy my day. I said, well, thanks for calling with the bad news, you schmuck, you idiot.
You fairy.
I also said that.
What?
I also said that Rolly gets the privilege of training this new guy, and then they're going to fire him.
Really?
Rolly Miguel's second.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just, we can all feel it.
Can you smell it? Is it palpable?
It's pungent.
It's one of my favorite words. It's palpable. You can feel it, you can smell it, you can almost touch it. It's like shopping at Abercrombie and Fitch. Oh, God, would I like to touch. Jesus Christ. Just once in your lifetime, believe me, there's plenty of everything in there. Oh, my goodness. And all the young, I don't know what to call them.
Jits?
I beg your pardon?
Punks.
No, but not just punks, but all the young, well-to-do, the young money crowd.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, the upwardly mobiles.
Yeah, that's right. What we used to call back in the day, the yuppie crowd.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in there, and they're all like strutting around, and they're,
Maybe that's why I won't go in there, and maybe never will.
You ought to go in there. Why not? You can't look? Is it now illegal in George Bush's America to even look?
I might feel, plastic.
Oh, plastic is the word. There's plenty. In fact, if you light a match in there, man, there's going to be a sea of plastic. That's right. 843 votes on the poll. We're on our way to 900, and then easy over 1,000. I bet you Chris is like dancing around like a madman. He's probably doing the Kazatsky right now.
This is Brady Quinn. Whenever I shave my balls, I listen to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
I'm Dr. Neil Clark Warren, founder of eTragedy.com. When two soulmates meet for the first time, it's a powerful experience.
I'm John Ramsey. I never thought I'd find someone who shared the same experiences as me. Then I found Beth.
I'm Beth Holloway. When I first met John, I was amazed at what we had in common.
At eTragedy.com, we match people based on 29 levels of gut-wrenching misfortune. So you're guaranteed to meet that special someone.
We weren't talking 5 minutes, and I found out he knows Greta Van Susteren.
And she knows Nancy Grace. Isn't that incredible?
When it comes to love, every cloud has a silver lining.
In fact, we're going to get married.
Oh.
And for our honeymoon, I'm taking her to Aruba.
Ooh, not there.
eTragedy.com. Because sometimes love is kind of creepy.
Yeah, speaking of creepy, it's 12:01 and 560 WQAM. 848 votes on our decent poll. It's not, it's not the worst. I think yesterday was one of the worst. Did you like that poll?
No. But still, it was one I didn't have to think of, so.
That is correct. Yeah, we just got this pile of stuff that Charlie B sends in, and, God forbid that we should think up anything new and creative because, we don't want to do that. Then Tom Zicka might write about it. What a jerk, what a jackass. You don't like the show, that's fine. You're entitled. You're entitled to hate the show like poison, just like we hate you, Tom. It's not personal. Oh, yeah, it is. Personal and it's business. Oh, and Brandon's bugging me for Godfather drops.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. You broke my heart.
Right, yeah, buffer. The family had a lot of buffers.
I kept saying, Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure.
We're on our way to Brooklyn. I hope Mike can get us a good deal tonight. Sure he will. Sal, Tom, the boss says we'll come in a separate car. He says for you two to go on ahead. Hell, he can't do that. It screws up all my arrangements. Well, that's what he said. I can't go either, Sal. Tell Mike it was only business. I always liked him. He understands that. Excuse me, Sal. Huh? Tom, can you get me off the hook? For old time's sake. Can't do it, Sally.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah, and of course, in listening to the audio, he can't. The best part of Robert Duvall, where he says, "Can't do it, Sally," and he gives that nod to the hitman, get rid of him. Right?
Right.
He gives like a little nod. 848 votes. Now, are we stuck on that or what? I don't want to have another one of these days where we just assume, What did I tell you, Chris? Don't ever assume your way into it. 853. There you go. There's a little chunk.
We'll get it.
Yeah, we're going to get it all right. When you're working for these people, in the end, sooner or later, everybody gets it. I thought that the previous crew, I thought that they were evil and,
Well, they were.
And, I wasn't going to change my mind on that. They definitely were, but not in the same sense as these people. Greg, he had Gary Sarner and the Water Nazi and Screw-Ann and Matty Bell and, his group of misfits, his little group of sycophants. But this guy, what are these people to him? The fact that they worked for him up there in Raleigh, so therefore it makes sense to bring them to Miami? Is that the idea? Is that the logic?
He worked with them. He likes them. I was going to say he thinks they do a good job.
And the people that used to work across the street who were failures over there, like the Juice and like Toast? Well, it sounds like a freaking buffet is what, a breakfast buffet.
So you forget the one and only
sounds
programming
like Sunday brunch.
You forget the one and only programming principle of this radio station. If they're talking sports, it's good, and everybody wants to listen to that.
If we could just get omelet on the air, boy, we have Juice, Toast, and omelet.
Ooh.
And spinaci.
We'll have a full-on breakfast buffet, baby.
Oh, McCain cut staff amid poor fundraising. I hope you like this article, Tommy. Republican John McCain struggled to keep his deeply troubled campaign afloat yesterday, laying off dozens of staffers after lackluster fundraising and excessive spending left him with just $2 million for his second presidential bid. Just $2 million for crying out loud. A piker. Uh-oh. Spell it. You got to spell it because Bo Camper's taking notes. Now, were you on vacation when that incident happened? I'll
yes,
finish this.
Yes, I was.
You were on vacation. Now, I'm sure that others recall exactly what happened. Am I right, Chris? Do others recall?
If by those you mean me, yeah.
Yeah. Or you're the only other one there, unless there's somebody hiding under the counter?
No.
And there were people who swore up and down, at least I'm told, I wasn't there to hear it, who swore that they heard me say that, the C word. And by saying the C word, by the way, I'm not talking about... Crap. No, I'm talking about coon. Coon, C-O-O-N, coon, rhymes with goon. And Beaucamper takes the words of these marginal people and goes on here, and then goes into a tirade against me. Oh, he's hiding behind his skirt up there in Toronto. I dare you to come down there and say it to his face. Did you hear that part of it?
Nope.
Yeah, hiding behind my skirt up here in Toronto, behind my dress. Considered the GOP frontrunner just 6 months ago, McCain trails his top rivals in money and in the polls. McCain's fortune soured this year as he embraced Bush's troop increase for the Iraq War, and that's because McCain is insane. He never met a war he didn't like. A conflict a majority of Republicans support, and bipartisan immigration bill that's divided the GOP. He also fought to win over skeptical conservatives who make up the core of the party. Officials with knowledge of the organization said more than 50 staffers, perhaps as many as 80 to 100, in every department of McCain's campaign were being let go, and senior aides will be subject to pay cuts. These officials spoke on condition of anonymity because the campaign would not publicly discuss specifics. And you know who's coming in to replace some of them, by the way? You know where they're coming from?
Raleigh.
That's it. Good guess. The campaign's fundamental leadership will not change. Terry Nelson, a veteran of President Bush's winning 2004 stolen election campaign, will remain campaign manager, but said he would volunteer his time instead of drawing a salary for the next few months. A few senior aides are doing the same. We confronted reality and we dealt with it the best way we could so that we could move forward with this campaign focused on winning our primaries in the early states, Nelson said. Always like that Nelson. McCain raised just $11.2 million in the second financial quarter of the year, which ended Saturday. That was less than $13.6 million he brought in during the first 3 months when he came in third behind Mitt Romney and Rudy Giuliani. Well, what the hell? I mean, Mitt Romney, forget about the fact that he's a Mormon. Forget that, if you can. But who the hell even knows who he is? Am I right?
No. Who?
In what would be a major strategic shift, the campaigns who was seriously considering taking public matching funds of about $6 million, but doing so could tie the campaign's hands by limiting the amount of money it can spend in individual states, especially if his rivals forego taxpayer money as expected. Nelson acknowledged the campaign has faced a series of challenges over the past 6 months and said it made incorrect assumptions about their fundraising ability. At one point we believed we could raise over $100 million during this calendar year, and we constructed a campaign based on that assumption, Nelson said. That, he said, proved to be wrong. At its peak, FEC records show McCain's payroll covered 150 staffers. From January through March, McCain spent nearly $1.6 million on salaries, the highest among Republican candidates. Romney was second at $1.1 million, and Giuliani spent $900,000. And a partridge in a pear tree. Who cares? You think any of them got a Chinaman's chance? Well, any of them against Hillary, of course, then they got a Chinaman's chance and a Japanese guy's chance, too.
It'll be a wash.
A wash? You think she's washing it?
Something.
Oh, boy. What a thought just came to my mind. I couldn't even begin to tell you. You already know. What a grotesque thought that was. Hillary is washing. Maybe she's washing the dirty laundry. Because they sure got plenty of that. Sure. Don't they all? Now, what's that we got to watch? Zeitgeist?
Yeah, the link is up, or he's working on it, or it's done. One of those things.
Well, let me take a look at our homepage since I never look at that thing. And there's a link, you think?
Right above Brady.
Right above, oh, there it is, right out of the poll. Right above Brady Quinn doing his best Saturday Night Live imitation there. He's doing a combination John Travolta and Michael Jackson there, wouldn't you say?
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Zeitgeist, the movie, is right between Brady and the pool. Right above Brady's pool. And 869 on that pool, by the way. Not too bad. By the bottom of the hour, we'll have 900. We're going to go way over 1,000. What was I worried about? Because it's the 3rd of July. That's what I was worried about. The 3rd of freaking July, baby. It's the dog days. It's Death Valley days. Now, what's the traffic like these days?
Lighter than usual, but still
aggravating?
Sucks. Yeah.
It still sucks?
There's still idiots out there for some reason.
Oh. Not in South Florida.
Aye, laddie.
And by the way, Tommy, how about that article you wrote 4 or 5 years ago, way back in the beginning when I started doing shows from here? Well, Rogers will have to prove he's got to be out of touch. Touch this, Tom. And he never even bothered to mention any future column because he doesn't write about radio ordinarily anyhow. He never bothered to mention it, even being 1,200 miles away. And we got our thumb right on it, man. No problem. Like during the hurricanes. No sweat. 871 votes on Charlie B's award-winning poll. That Charlie B really something, man. I can't say the word on the air, but he'd be it. Peace would have a better shot in the world if there were no religions to divide people. 387. And of course there will never be such a thing as peace. Is a close second. 350. Or 330, excuse me. If the U.S. learned to respect other countries' sovereignty, 89. No more Iraq attacks, okay? No more occupying other countries based on a bunch of lies. If we bomb Iran's only got 27, thank the Lord. If everybody could just join hands and start a love train, 18. What do you say? Everybody join hands. I got it here somewhere. I got it in my hand right now. And the disc, too. Everybody join hands. Let's stop killing each other. Let's stop all the baloney. Let's outlaw religion would be a really good idea. All of them. Not just one. All of them. All man-made garbage, baby. All a bunch of swill. I beg your pardon?
But I was ripping them
step
yesterday.
on it now. Hop on that love train or just hop on this. If we bomb Iran, 27. If everybody could just join hands, start a love train, 18. Notice how I read some of those a couple of times. Kill some good time. If we could buy the world a Coke and keep it company, 9. Now, most people don't know that song anymore, do they? How many years since they ran that campaign? I'd like to buy the world a Coke.
72, you said so.
No, that was when the song came out, not the Coke spot.
Well, I thought they were back-to-back, weren't they?
You thought they were simultaneous, side by
At
each?
least within a year or two of each other.
But it is so Canadian, side by each.
Mm-hmm.
If arms dealers were outlawed, 6, and if people stopped joining the military, only 5. How come that's only got 5 votes?
Hey.
I mean, if people would stop, getting trained to kill each other. Well, we're defending our freedoms, we got to get them over there before they get us over here.
Rogers.
I thought Christianity was fairy tale.
Absolutely.
This religion thing was not for me.
Oi!
They held a big convention and let me in for free. I had no idea what I was about to see. Oh! They were speaking in tongues that made me a believer. It was kind of fun to stick it out of my mouth. Speak in tongues. They got me believing my tongue is weaving from side to side. The Lord will now embrace me. I clap my tongue to the beat. Now, whatever I do, He'll forgive me.
Oh!
'Cause now I speak in tongues. That makes me a believer. And I'm having fun playing around with my mouth. Now I speak in tongues.
Now the Pope depends on you and the powers you possess. Since you saved his life with your flying scissor knife, he's got a job for you to do. You have a brand new style too. We love the way you flop your due. With the big B on your chest and bulletproof skin tight dress, defending those who are oppressed.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Cruise with the speed of a gazelle. Sends the bad guy straight to hell.
to glow with your image, then we know you're crushing crime with one mighty
My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours.
Huh?
My beliefs are what's required to avoid a lake of fire. My religion's better than yours.
My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. While my religion advocates bigotry and racial hate, my religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. What we like about it best, I fondle boys and wear a dress. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's much better than yours. We have no respect for women. Drive a cab to make a living. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's much better than yours. Chupacabra, spooky ghost, we slaughter pigs and dogs and goats. My religion's better than yours.
My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours.
We wear beanies and pigtails and never ever pay retail. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. We knock on doors to bother you like Fuller Brush to spew our views. My religion's better than yours.
My religion's better than your religion. My religion's much better than yours.
We wear ties and ride our bikes and get to marry lots of wives. My religion's better than yours.
My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. We don't want to use our brain for mindless lemmings on parade. My religion's better than yours.
The pub smokes dope.
Oh.
The pub smokes dope. God gave him the grass. The pub smokes dope. He likes his smoking mash. The pub smokes dope. He's a groovy head. The pub smokes dope. The pub smokes dope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Got him high on mescaline, faking high and fat. Hopes in Rome get stoned on grass. Jesus freaks out back. Jesus Christ, a super hippie, never shut up chunk. Popes in Rome get stoned alone. Priests in church get drunk. The Pope smokes dope. God give him the grass. The Pope smokes dope. He likes to smoke a ass. The Pope smokes dope. He's a groovy head there. The Pope smokes dope. The Pope smokes dope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jill forgot to take a pill, now she's got a daughter. Taking pills is not a joke for a groovy pope. Birth control can be a toke of marijuana smoke. The Pope smokes dope. God gave him the grass. The Pope smokes dope. He likes to smoke a man. The Pope smokes dope. He's a groovy head there. The Pope smokes dope. The Pope smokes dope. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. The Pope is getting higher. 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 The Pope smokes dope. God gave him the grass. The Pope smokes dope. He likes to smoke an ass. The Pope smokes dope. He's a groovy hater. The Pope smokes dope. The Pope smokes dope. The Pope smokes dope. The Pope smokes dope. Cha-cha-cha.
See a little common theme there in that segment?
Yeah, I kind of put it together. It took me a while, but yeah.
I beg your pardon?
I said it was great.
Oh. 900 votes even on the poll. Chris is, he's dancing all around the room. He's doing the hora, Kana hora.
What's that?
It's a dance. It's a Jew dance.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I'm
What do
doing
you
that.
think it is?
I had no idea.
900 votes even. We got an hour and a half to get to 1,000. Easy pickings, baby. No sweat. Even on the 3rd of July. Wow. Not a real feather in Chris's cap?
Of course.
Can you see? Now, where did George go?
Right here.
Oh. Well, how come he answered?
Because you're talking about the poll.
It was like cataracts. His eyes just went white.
Oh, man, you're just such a hard ass. It's incredible. Doug Thompson writes, speaking of that, Dick Cheney's Polaroids. He says, over lunch last week, a friend speculated that Vice President Cheney must have some interesting Polaroid photos of President George W. Bush. Nothing else explains why Cheney has so much power. He said he's got to hold something over Bush. Interesting thought. Like most politicians, Bush has a closet full of skeletons, although most have been thoroughly vetted by now. Avoiding the Vietnam War by hiding out in the Texas Air Guard, hard drinking, rumors of cocaine use, etc. So what's left for Cheney to know? What could the Polaroid shots show? The aging frat boy getting it on with an underage Mexican whore in Tijuana? Nah, even Mexican whores have standards. A White House intern on her knees servicing the first member. Not likely, said my friend, as she noted, who'd want that man's Johnson in her mouth?
You.
Bush snorting. Can I move on, please?
All right, please.
See, when I read those things, I try to move on very fast. Bush snorting a mountain of coke. If past rumors are true, Bush doesn't have enough mucous membrane left to use a Vicks inhaler, much less nose candy. The Bush twins getting it on with their college football teams, that's not news. Both Bush girls were known party animals. Laura in leathers wielding whips and chains. Let's not even go there. That's the problem with Bush. He's such a miserable president, it's hard to suspect him of normal human weaknesses. We know Bill Clinton would cop a feel, but Bush is such a failure on so many levels that suspecting him of carnal weaknesses just doesn't come into play. It's also a disturbing commentary on the American political system. Clinton can be impeached for lying about dalliances with an intern, but Bush can't be touched about lying about a war that sends thousands of American men and women to their deaths. Paul Wolfowitz helped manufacture false intelligence, helped sell the Iraq war to a gullible Congress and American public, and was rewarded with a cushy job at the World Bank. It took promoting his girlfriend and giving her a big fat raise to bring him down. We punish people for human failings and give them a pass for far more serious crimes against the nation and the Constitution. In such an environment, Dick Cheney doesn't need Polaroid pictures of George W. Bush or anybody else. All he needs is the failure of the American political system. That's what Doug Thompson says, and from where my fat ass sits, I think he sees it. He got it.
Of mine. Oh, God.
This is Learning to Spell with Donnell. I'll be Donnell Jackson, and today we're going to spell the word broken. Spell it with me now. Broken. B-R-O-K-E-N. Now, let's use it in a sentence. So I says to the coach, I says, man, that bro can show throw a football. This is Learning to Spell with Donnell. I'll be Donnell Jackson. This is Learning to Spell with Donnell. I'll be Donnell Jackson, and today we're going to spell the word European. Spell it with me now. European. E-U-R-O-P-E-A-N. That's a big one. Now, let's use it in a sentence. So I said to the guy, I says, hey, get away from my car, European on my tire. This is Learning to Spell with Donnell. I'll be Donnell Jackson.
12:33 at 560 WQAM. We have 942 votes on the poll. Maybe this hour we do the 1,000. What do you think? Wouldn't that be something? A little feather in your ass?
Yep. And then we can save votes for tomorrow's poll.
What do you mean by that? Are you on the 4th of July?
Yeah, well, that way it won't look so bad.
I think we ought to leave the poll the same. I don't know.
What a great idea. That's a spectacular idea.
Oh, maybe not leave it the same, but I don't know. I mean, what kind of a response are you going to get on the 4th of July? What kind of losers are going to be voting on our website on a 4th of July poll, huh? People with no friends, with no family, with no lives, with no pets.
Our listeners.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, come up with a good poll. The U.S. Commerce Department sent an independent team to the National Hurricane Center today to finish an unscheduled review to determine if forecasters can fulfill their mission under current management. Center Director Bill Prunz has been chastised by his bosses after he publicly complained about budget shortfalls and the federal government's failure to replace a key aging satellite that his forecasters use. Commerce Undersecretary Conrad Lautenbacher, wow, what a name that is. Isn't that kind of like, raise the hair on the back of your neck? said the review that started yesterday was launched because he became aware of concerns about the Hurricane Center's ability to meet its mission. He didn't give specifics. I want to ensure the center's continued readiness not only for this season but for future seasons, he said in a memo Friday to center staffers. Lautenbacher also heads NOAA and his ARC, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which oversees the National Weather Service, the Hurricane Center's parent agency. Through employee interviews, the team will assess the Hurricane Center's ability to provide accurate and timely information and whether its management organizational structure helps achieve the center's mission, Lautenbacher wrote. That's Conrad Lautenbacher. The team was also instructed to assess whether the center learned lessons from the 2005 hurricane season and other storms. Perens has been in the job since January. After a long career at the Weather Service, he confirmed the inspection last night. Well, there you go. They came sneaking in the middle of the night, I guess, and looking around. Just looking around, looking through the books, looking through the waste baskets.
Looking through the keyhole.
That's right, peeping through the keyhole. There's another one we can't play, Tommy. That's a good bit. It's great. I love it. 9:19.
Peeping through the keyhole.
On the pole.
Watching Mom and Dad. Peeping through the keyhole. The most fun we ever had.
Well, a lot of fun, but we can't hear about it. Not no mo. See, if I was Tommy, I wanted to write something about local radio. An article about Joyce Fitch would be a good article, wouldn't it?
Ooh, that'd be an excellent one.
That's one thing about the FCC. Everybody's written about that. But about Joyce Fitch and the chilling effect she's had on this show and on this radio station and on the universe in which we live. Chilling. A chilling effect. And you know what? I continue taking the money and damn well deserve it. After 31 years of this crap, plus a couple of months. 919 votes on the poll. We'd like to get close to 1,000 by the top of the hour so we don't have to make a big simus about it during the... And we're not going for no 11, 12, nothing like that. On the 3rd of July, you'd have to be a crazy... Wouldn't you think? Well, I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Nah.
No, what?
Let's take it easy today.
No, I'm not talking about that, but wouldn't you think that a tremendous number of people who are going to be traveling for the holiday, that they're already gone?
Yeah.
Like, for example, yesterday here was Canada Day, 1st of July.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it was celebrated on... It was the 2nd of July, wasn't it? See, that's what I'm talking about. I do believe that Canada Day is July 1, but they celebrated the holiday yesterday because it's the Monday. And if the 4th of July would have been on Sunday, then yesterday would have been the 4th of July holiday. See, that's what I was trying to tell you before, but I did it very inarticulately, and that's because I'm a zombie. It's one thing to talk about Abercrombie and Fitch. It's another thing to talk about Abercrombie and Zombie. See, when you go in Abercrombie and Fitch, one of the real bonuses, one of the real pluses in there, is the fact that it's insane. It's always mobbed. You would think that they were giving stuff away. You think they were handing out $100 bills. Just mobbed with all these unbelievably smoldering people. And so it's very easy to, oops, excuse me, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to just kind of take a tumble into the hottest looking whoever happens to be around. And they've always got a greeter at the door when you first walk in, which I don't know too many retail stores where they do that.
It's more and more. Everybody's got a greeter.
Are they doing?
Yeah.
And what they do at Abercrombie and Fitch, because I think a huge portion of their clientele is either
gay
males or chicks, they take the hottest looking guy and they put him right there in the doorway.
All right.
All right. All right is not the word. Seriously, I don't even want to go into it. I'll start getting very emotional.
I heard you did want to go into it.
Well, all depends on what you're talking about.
Head
Pantaloons,
first.
maybe. Just stop with all that talk, okay?
What? I didn't bring that up.
You heard me. Yeah, you did. 923 votes on that poll, man. We'll crawl along. We'll get to there. One of these days, you'll see. We'll get there. Oh, look at this. This is kind of almost interesting. Hey, listen, Tommy. It says Alzheimer's linked to poor sense of smell, and because you stink, Tommy, maybe it fits right in. Yeah, maybe if Rogers would go back to that fun and entertainment, it would sure be a big improvement over him sitting there reading these boring articles on you, which, of course, they're all left-wing propaganda. If it was a bunch of right-wing propaganda, it was a bunch of fascist Nazi crap, then Tom would probably love it. He'd probably write a whole week's worth of columns on it. Nice going, Neil. You found religion just like Phil Hendry.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Total sellout. Piece of turd. Difficulty identifying common smells such as lemon, banana, and cinnamon may be the first sign of Alzheimer's disease, according to a study that could lead to a scratch and sniff test to determine a person's risk for the progressive brain disorder. Scratch and sniff. I'm going to go to Abercrombie and Fitch right now and do a little scratching and a little sniffing. Such tests could be important if scientists find ways to slow or stop Alzheimer's and the memory loss associated with it. For now, I mean, seriously, I go to that store, and I have been there several times because my friend is a clothes hog with my money. At any rate, and I look and I think to myself, this can't be possible. I've lived all these years, and even as many, like in Berlin and Cologne, I think I've seen some really beautiful people in my lifetime, you know what I'm saying? And actually, I had close encounters with a few. But I have never even dreamed that there were any such, like, you know what I mean, like real people like that?
Sure.
Holy moly, Jesus God. For now, there's no cure for more than 5 million Americans, estimated 300,000 Canadians over 65 with Alzheimer's. Researchers have long known that microscopic lesions, considered the hallmarks of Alzheimer's, first appear in a brain region important to the sense of smell. Strictly on the basis of anatomy, yeah, this makes sense, said Robert Franks, an expert on odor perception of the brain at the University of Cincinnati. Franks was not involved in the study. Other studies have linked loss of smell to Alzheimer's, Frank said, but this is the first one to measure healthy people's olfactory powers and follow them up for 5 years, testing for signs of mental decline. Isn't that where Archie Bunker used to work, in the olfactory?
Right, for a while there. Then he got
in the study, 600 people before he had the bar. 600 people between the ages of 54 and 100 were asked to identify a dozen familiar smells: onion, lemon, cinnamon, black pepper, chocolate, rose, banana, pineapple, soap, paint thinner, gasoline, and smoke. For each mystery scent, they were given a choice of 4 answers. A quarter of the people correctly identified all odors and missed only one. Half of them knew at least 9 of the 12. The lowest scoring quarter correctly identified 8 or fewer of the odors. The subjects took 21 cognitive tests annually over the next 5 years. Those who made at least 4 errors on the odor test were 50% more likely to develop memory problems than people who made no more than 1 error. Difficulty identifying odors was also associated with a higher risk of progressing from mild cognitive impairment to Alzheimer's. Speaking of odors, oh my God, you know what we haven't played even a little bit of in a long time?
What?
Boy, you're...
Ain't no
oh, that one.
anymore.
Oh, we're going to have a discussion about that, the read a book thing, because I think it needs a comeback. Were you agreeing with Chris and Cordes there and whoever else? Oh, Miguel.
Yeah,
no wonder Miguel got canned.
All for you, Mr. Bell. Thanks, Carlos, my happy and gay friend. Ho, 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 ho. Joe Bell here. Hello.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, Gildy. What won't I do for you today? Ho, 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 ho.
Did Joyce have those Boca Brian comedy-like spot things pulled off Neil's show?
That was a corporate decision. As you know, the BBGI management are suit-wearing white people. And, of course, suit-wearing white people could never do anything wrong.
It's actually corporate white people. They always have our best interest at heart.
Sure. We project an image of decency and authority. And that gives us license to commit any despicable act we like.
That's the way to go. No one's going to say nothing.
Yes. Jesus loves them more, which makes them accountable to no law. You know, between you and me, the mystique of a white person in a suit is a knowledgeable authority figure. It's what put our nation in the shape it's in today.
And they have a warm smile when they insert the knife.
Of course. You're in good hands with white people.
So, Joe.
Yes, Gildy.
You think you could get Boca Brian to stop making fun of me?
I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I just don't know what to do.
Okay, Joe. And you don't have to pay me or Mandage or that other guy.
Don't worry, we won't. Bye-bye. Joe Bell, hello.
Hey, Joe, what do you know? What do you say?
Oh, Mo, what do you want, Mo?
You think you can get that Boca Brian to stop making fun of me, too?
I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to do.
I've heard that more than once. 900 and...
About 30, man.
930 votes on our poll. Okay, it's not the best poll, but it's the 3rd of July. What do you want before the 4th of July? And, of course, this is another one of those holidays. It doesn't make any difference what day it falls on.
Right.
Because it only serves one purpose. It's got nothing to do with independence or America or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to do with the barbecues and getting drunk and shooting off a bunch of fireworks and blowing up somebody, some pain in the ass bystander gets in the way. Or at least blowing off a hand. I bet there's going to be a hot time in Hialeah tonight and tomorrow, wouldn't you think?
I imagine.
They're big on the fireworks. Now, what is it? Is that a Cuban thing, or is that just a redneck thing? What is that all about?
Both. The Spicks and the Hicks loves their fireworks and their patriotism.
And so when you get on I-95 and you drive up the East Coast, and you drive through Carolinas and Virginia, what's the name of that place where they have all the fireworks? Do you remember?
South Carolina.
But no, there's a very famous place. You always see those bumper stickers.
Do you?
Well, at least you used to. Maybe 100 years ago when I was a child. Bush assaults rule of law to save Libby. I don't want to do too many of these Scooter Libby stories because, let's face it, Zion America, baby. Oh, there's Ahmed, whatever his name is. Ahmadinejad. What else is his name?
You're the one that says it, right?
I can't. Well, listen, I'm incoherent. I couldn't even remember Chris's name. I am so in. Oh, Mahmoud. I'm sorry. Did I say Ahmed? I get my Ahmeds confused with my Mahmouds. But I do like the. I like that.
Who doesn't?
I like that Semitic thing, man. The funny part of it is also in Dutch and in German. There's a lot like that. A lot of phlegm.
Right.
So be sure to eat a lot of dairy, all you Orthodox Jews. Eat a lot of dairy. Ari Melber, who sounds Orthodox to me, in The Nation writes, Bush assaults rule of law to save Libby. It's tempting to view the commutation of prison time for Louis Libby, the disgraced White House aide convicted of lying and obstructing justice, as another instance of craven hypocrisy by President Bush. As a candidate in 1999, Bush assured the voters, I don't believe my role is to replace the verdict of a jury with my own unless new facts arose or the trial was unfair, a standard which the Libby case clearly fails. Or perhaps the commutation will serve as a disturbing reminder of how the administration regularly lies with impunity in Washington. President Bush famously promised in serious tones at a televised White House meeting to both fire and punish anyone involved in the outing of CIA agent Valerie Plame. Instead, he retained all the senior officials embroiled in the scandal, even after their roles were exposed in trial testimony and news reports with no visible consequences. Now, the president is using his clemency power to protect the one official convicted on related crimes. In a surreal statement about that choice, Bush volunteered his belief that if a person doesn't tell the truth, especially if he serves in government and holds the public trust, he must be held accountable. But it would be wrong to criticize Bush's decision as one more hypocritical or deceitful maneuver because it is actually far more profound. The commutation of the 30-month prison sentence for Louis Libby, the highest-ranking White House official convicted of a felony since Iran-Contra, fits into a larger systemic assault on American rule of law by the Bush administration. In fact, Libby's special treatment is a microcosm of current U.S. policy. Libby is basically receiving a post-conviction protection that the Bush administration now routinely extends to many potential criminals in the U.S. government. The administration successfully pushed legislation last year granting immunity to officials who might someday be prosecuted for war crimes or torture. It's a policy that embodies the administration's distinctly un-American view that powerful government officials should operate above the law. The same legislation, the Military Commissions Act, strips constitutional rights and habeas corpus in a direct attack on the protections that have grounded the rule of law in America since its founding 231 years ago this week. The unconstitutional act, like the administration's illegal detention, torture, spying, and secret prisons, will continue as long as the federal courts ignore the administration's criminal conduct in deference to claims of executive authority in the so-called global war on terror. Even when the courts have confronted Bush's assault on the rule of law, overruling detention policies in 2 cases and 1 spying lawsuit, the administration has stayed or circumvented the rulings, shielded lawbreakers within the U.S. government, or simply lied by claiming all of its activities, including those found unconstitutional by U.S. courts, are legal. When pressed on illegal torture techniques, for example, Bush made the Nixonian declaration that whatever we have done is legal. Then there's the slew of rearguard actions that the administration uses to subvert the law in our democratic process. These include extreme secrecy, defying congressional subpoenas, extra-legal signing statements, and unprecedented assertions of the state secrets privilege, a courtroom tactic where the administration literally tells judges that cases shouldn't proceed because they might jeopardize state secrets, and it often works. The administration defends this assault on the rule of law as vital to defending the homeland. If anything, the most vocal Bush supporters are proud of their zeal to commit crimes that supposedly advance national security. The Republicans running to replace Bush frequently tout their willingness to whip the people for the good of the people, as Baudelaire would say, well, whoever the hell that was, while Bush's leading Democratic opponents have rarely tackled these issues head-on. Kerry rarely mentioned torture in the 2004 campaign, since Democrats generally thought human rights were political suicide after 9/11, as Georgetown law professor David Cole argues in the NYRB. Of course, Libby can't even claim a trade-off between law and security. He lied to FBI agents to cover up the outing of a CIA agent that compromised national security. The motivation for the leak was a potentially illegal hit job to discredit American citizens who'd served in the U.S. government. It was as dirty and petty as Watergate, except this time the crooks broke into their own files to attack opponents. Since the Libby commutation is part of a much broader problem, the president's opponents cannot afford to simply criticize it in isolation. They have a duty to outline an alternative agenda that prioritizes the rehabilitation of the rule of law. Which candidates will commit to rolling back the legislative immunity for war criminals? who will commit to confronting every official responsible for mishandling classified information, including Libby and Cheney, practicing torture, and illegally spying on American citizens, who will pursue investigations now, if elected, to follow the horrors of Abu Ghraib up the chain of command, past the Tagubo report, however high they go. That's the surest way to begin rescuing the rule of law in this country and restore the public trust, because as Americans gather for the 4th of July celebrations, talk will likely turn to two convicted criminals who embody Bush's approach to the rule of law, Louis Libby and Paris Hilton. So powerful and rich they can live above the law, and they make no apologies for it. Americans overwhelmingly opposed a pardon for Libby, and initial polling suggests they oppose the commutation. The question for politicians is not whether they agree with the public on this fundamental matter of law and order, but what they're going to do about it. Yeah, why are we talking about Scooter Libby when we got Paris Hilton? We got bigger fish to fry, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's get back to that pitch. 941 votes on the poll. We're not going to make no 1,000 by 1 o'clock, but I think it's fairly safe to say we got it licked. Are we licking it or what?
Look at something.
Chris?
Sure.
Now, what was on the food agenda today? Do we have any idea what restaurant is going to be on Thursday or not?
I don't think we have any, this week.
I beg your pardon?
I don't think we have one this week.
Do you want to say that again a little bit louder?
We ain't going to eat no.
Because Duff was in there. You heard him yourself this morning, even though I was very incoherent and I was very rude to him, which I don't apologize for. Just leave me alone, Duff. And he was peeing on my leg about what a great job I did, and ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and, you know.
I asked him about it, and he said that because of the short week, basically, you know, missing a day, that people didn't want to buy into it on this week.
People didn't want to do what?
Buy into it on this week.
Sounds like a really lame excuse to me, Duff. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying it sounds like a really lame-ass excuse to me.
Hate people that use snappy openers for their show segments, like that 1 to 2 hour.
Yeah! Ain't ready. What's up, y'all? This your boy Z-Mike. You see, I usually do songs with, like, hooks and concepts and shit, right? But that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. So I'm about to rock this shit. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise
Okay, now what did we decide? We're not playing that anymore, or what?
I stopped, but you go, girl.
I'm gonna play it. When you got one bit like that, and of course you did that brilliant editing job on there, so that alone makes it worthwhile playing.
Sure,
Otherwise,
I
what was
still
the
like
point?
it, but yeah, I got a lot of negative feedback as soon as I came back, and so I stopped.
Yeah,
That's not to say
wait. You got a lot of negative feedback about my playing it too much.
that
Is
you
that
played
correct?
it too much. That's what they said. You played it too much.
Who is they?
They, Miguel, so they fired him for saying that.
Well, like I said, I think he had it coming. I think you finally,
put my finger on it.
You got your thumb in it. 950 votes in the poll. We're going to get to 1,000 or Chris is fired. We'll find somebody in Raleigh to replace you, man. I'll tell you that. Somebody fat. Like Jolly Joe, he's fat.
Take your time.
Or like Hank, what did Hank say? He was like a fat-ass sucking something. Senator Barack Obama reported raising at least, here's that story. Remember I promised you about 8 hours ago? It seems like 8 hours anyway. You know something? If I make it to 2 o'clock today, I deserve a gold star and a purple jelly bean, as Jerry Wishner would say 100 years ago before he croaked. I mean, I just can't even imagine it's going to happen. Here's George.
Hey.
I just know I'm going to do it. And especially at my age, if you see, I can function on like 5-6 hours sleep, but 2, no way, Jose. Barack Obama reported raising at least $32.5 million for his presidential campaign from April through June. That's a record for a Democratic candidate. How do you like that? Somebody must like him besides just me and the professor and a few of the rest of us. That's more than what Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton, Obama's main Democratic rival, has said she would raise for the reporting period that ended Saturday. At least $31 million of Obama's total is for party primaries, according to his campaign aides. The first-term senator from Illinois received donations from more than 154,000 individual contributors, and through the first half of the year had 258,000 donors. Obama raised $25.7 million in the first quarter of the year. Vaulting ahead of Clinton in the money race is an important achievement. Despite broad public interest in Obama's candidacy, he trails the New York senator and former First Lady in the national polls. Several leading candidates in both parties have raised money for both the primary and general elections. Clinton has been the most aggressive in tapping donors for both. She's tapping them. General election money, however, can't be used unless the candidate becomes the nominee. Early in the year, Obama raised more than Clinton in primary dollars. Clinton aides have said she would raise in the range of $27 million in the April through June period and predicted Obama would do better. Only Republican George W. Bush in each presidential campaign raised comparable amounts in the second quarter of the year before the general election. The single-quarter record is $35.1 million by Bush from April through June in 2003. Clinton had held the Democratic mark with $26 million. That's Swillery, covering the first 3 months of this year. She had 26, but in the second quarter, Barack got $32.5 million. I'll take some of that, little something. You want a piece?
Piece of what? Pie?
Now, don't start.
What?
See, that's not going to influence me at this point. I am off of the crap, man. I mean, serious.
I wasn't talking about food.
Yeah, the hell you weren't. I see the way you sneak that in there because you know that I'm very tired and I'm weak and I'm susceptible. Not now.
No, I was thinking about pie.
What kind?
Punky.
How about Boston cream pie is my favorite.
Yeah, I was thinking of cream pie, as a matter of fact.
Banana cream pie. Oh, baby.
No.
Yeah, I know what you were thinking about. Sick.
No.
We're on a financial course that will allow us to both fully fund efforts in the early primary and caucus states, and also, but it goes on forever. On with, and on the Republican side, let's see. John Edwards raised more than $9 million in the second quarter. New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson was right on his ass with more than $7 million. Among Republicans, here's what I was looking for. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney said he'll fall short of the $20.7 million raised earlier in the year, and Rudy Giuliani was expected to exceed his first quarter total of $16 million. Like we said before, Senator John McCain, he is struggling. He's a Soros, baby. He's out. He's done. You can stick a fork in him. He's well done. John McCain, the man with no brain, who's insane. God, what a nut job. So let's play the audio from Sicko. What do you say, especially the part where he's in Cuba?
Oh, geez, that's like the surprise. That actually surprised me because I thought, just like he said in the movie, I was raised the same way, thinking that, nothing good happens there, that they don't have anything going on.
Well, the good thing is if you should try to get sick.
Yeah.
Because if you get sick, they take really great care of you. How do you like the inhaler that the woman said it cost her $100? The woman with the asthma or whatever, $120 in the U.S.
What are you talking about? I have an asthmatic at home. We have to pay for those inhalers all the time. I have to. I have to pay for like 3 different kinds a month. We both choked up.
3 pesos. 5. She says, how much is that? 5 cents. $120 in the U.S. 5 cents in Cuba.
Right. Same freaking inhaler.
Yeah, the same exact goods. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if it's cheap getting laid over there, too.
I imagine. I heard it was.
Just like in Costa Rica. Okay, let's take a look and see how we're doing here, because I don't want Chris to fall short and get fired for some flunky from, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, we'd hate that.
953 votes. We need 47 votes in 51 minutes. I'm telling you, this is getting a little bit more tense than I thought. Why is that? It just stuck there. You think Eric is diddling with me again? He might be.
Trying to put you over the edge?
Well, speaking of Fidel and speaking of Cuba, Eric Margolis writes on the Smirking Chimp, the CIA's release last week of top-secret files detailing its illegal activities from the 60s to the 70s offered few surprises. The agency's plans to assassinate foreign leaders like Fidel Castro and Vietnam's President Diem, its spying on Americans, and its often amateurish cloak-and-dagger operations by now are well known. Unfortunately, many other secret operations that violated U.S. law, an attempt to kill Egypt's president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, or waging war in Indonesia, remain classified. Former CIA directors Admiral Stansfield Turner, and Dr. James Schlesinger both told me they had wanted to reveal far more information about the CIA than has come out so far, but weren't able to do it. Revelations of the CIA's family jewels, as these agencies' malefactions are known, certainly brings me lots of Cold War nostalgia, writes Eric Margolis. Americans, however, are asking how these past CIA illegalities compare to today's violations of the Constitution and federal laws by U.S. security agencies. The answer, today's violations are far more serious and widespread, though their justification, the alleged threat to national security by terrorists, is tiny compared to the Soviet nuclear threat in Cold War days. U.S. Vice President Cheney engineered the Iraq War, urging attacks on Iran and Syria, and has championed domestic surveillance programs. He sees America surrounded and infiltrated by enemies. In this regard, Cheney bears a remarkable resemblance to the fabled Cold Warrior and Grand Master of U.S. intelligence, James Jesus Angleton. Or is that Jesus? Angleton rose to U.S. wartime intelligence to become director of CIA's powerful counterintelligence division. He was extremely close to the senior British MI6 intelligence officer Kim Philby, who fed the doting Angleton a steady stream of disinformation. When Philby was unmasked as a Soviet KGB agent, something snapped in Angleton's brain, just as the 9/11 attacks or heart problems appear to have transformed Dick Cheney from a capable but colorless senior bureaucrat into an ardent militarist and sword-bearer of America's far right. In the late 60s, the brilliant, eccentric Angleton, who loved poetry, orchids, and puzzle-solving, turned into a roaring paranoid. He believed genuine Soviet defectors were KGB plants, and KGB plants legitimate defectors. He also became an active asset, or at least very close ally, of Israel's Mossad and a champion of Israel's cause in Washington. On orders of President Johnson, Angleton unleashed notorious Operation Chaos that conducted illegal surveillance of anti-war and civil rights groups. He accused the FBI of being infested by Soviet moles and blocked CIA-FBI cooperation. By the 70s, Angleton was seeing enemy spies everywhere. He suspected Henry Kissinger and accused Lester Pearson and Pierre Trudeau of being Soviet agents. He claimed Britain's Prime Minister Harold Wilson, Sweden's Prime Minister Olof Palme, and German's Chancellor Willy Brandt were Soviet agents. Angleton's galloping paranoia caused him to believe the CIA was filled with Soviet moles. Similarly, Cheney concluded today's CIA is unreliable, filled with defeatists and Arabists, and can't be trusted with national security. How do you like that word, Arabists?
Okay.
Cheney and old ally Don Rumsfeld created 2 special intelligence offices in the Pentagon designed to bypass the CIA and feed the White House and Congress bogus reports justifying invading Iraq and waging the so-called war on terrorism. Angleton created his own intelligence unit with the agents within the agency that spied its co-workers and fed his growing dementia. Agency morale collapsed. This period of fierce mutual suspicion, snooping, double or triple agents, and ruined careers became aptly known as a wilderness of mirrors. Angleton, a hero of America's hard right, kept warning the White House the Soviets were about to attack. In 1974, a mentally unstable Angleton was forced to retire, having nearly wrecked the CIA and severely damaged relations with key U.S. allies. Ironically, 3 decades later, senior CIA and FBI agents Aldrich Ames and Robert Hansen were unmasked as KGB moles. Now official Washington is worrying deeply about how to retire the equally paranoid figure of Vice President Cheney, who, like Angleton, has lost touch with reality in a wilderness of mirrors. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If I looked like him, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near a mirror.
This is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
I played softball 2 nights a week, and then we all go out for drinks. Now we can do both, right here on the field, with Mike's Hard Gatorade.
Mike's Hard Gatorade is the sports drink packed with electrolytes and alcohol to give you the energy and buzz you crave.
I run 10 miles a day. People ask, are you crazy? Nope, I'm drunk.
Mike's Hard Gatorade will energize and inebriate any athlete, amateur or professional.
I'm Michael Vick. During the game or during a dog fight, it's always the right time for Mike's Hard Gatorade.
Mike's Hard Gatorade. Is it in you?
Not for long. Whoa.
118 at 560 WQM. Now I'm starting to come out of this a little bit, starting to wake up a little. Need, I think a 15, 20-hour nap, I'll be okay.
Great.
I think by Thursday morning I'll be ready to do a show.
Sure. How about tomorrow?
No. 963 at a poll. You're not in yet, Chris.
We'll get there.
You're not in yet. I'm just telling you that.
Well, thank you.
I'm just trying to caution you so that you start screaming and yelling and carrying on and make because if you ease back and they assume automatically that you're in, it just they screw off.
Let's go, people.
Yeah, let's get with it. Okay, we need 37 more votes. We got 42 minutes, so that should be a no-drainer on this show on a high-price show like this. What the hell just happened to CNN? Did yours go out or did my cable? My cable just went out?
Cable. Must be you. We got it.
Oh, that's bad. I saw a picture of John Edwards on there, and it put the cable right out. Well, that's really bad. Well, let me know if the world is going to blow up or something. Wait till you hear this story. This will really frost your ass, especially since you saw Sicko. Conservative bloggers try to link Michael Moore to UK terror attempts. Ready for that?
Mm-hmm.
In reaction to the terrorist attacks on the Glasgow airport and Scotland and seemingly related attempts in London, several conservative bloggers attempted to draw a connection between filmmaker Michael Moore and his film Sicko with the bombers, 2 of whom appeared to be doctors. British news outlets revealed Sunday that 2 of the people detained by UK authorities were doctors. Hello, doctor? 2 of the 5 terror suspects being held in the wake of the failed car bombings in London and Glasgow are hospital doctors working in the UK, reported Sky News. Is my cable actually out here? My TV? Did I shut the TV off or something? No, it's on. The cable's out. And the sun is shining. It's beautiful. 2 of the 5 terror suspects, I just read that. A number of right-wing bloggers seized on the information and connected it to Moore's new film, Sicko. The film criticizes the for-profit health insurance system in the U.S. and praises the UK's state-run healthcare system. One writer, Mark Stein, who contributes to the National Review's online right-wing corner blog, posted an email he received in order to identify the connection between Moore's Sicko and the British terrorists. Would these be doctors who work for the UK healthcare system so lavishly praised by Michael Moore? Perhaps they're not jihadists at all, but simply men driven insane by their employer. Maybe Michael Moore has spawned an entirely new breed of suicide bomber, the alienated UK healthcare worker. Stein quotes from one email after noting, "I've been getting more than a few letters along these lines." He also posted a second email and observed, now that Dr. Mohammed Asha has been arrested in the Glasgow-London terrorist investigation, several readers have noticed that this artfully combines Michael Moore's 2 most recent enthusiasms, insurgents and socialized healthcare. Stein, however, adds Mr. Moore has yet to call these medico-jihadist Minutemen. The National Review's The Corner was not the only leading conservative website to try to link Moore with the British attacks. It seems like terrorists who really wanted to frighten Brits would have a field day by killing patients with just enough plausibility towards seeming like natural deaths. It certainly will give patients a new reason to feel uncomfortable about going to the hospital, wrote Ed Morrissey at the blog Captain's Quarters. I wonder what Michael Moore would make of this, he said. The message was echoed to Les Traffic blog. Is this the same British medical system praised by Michael Moore in his latest agitprop movie, asked Rick Moore of Holy Coast? I guess the Hippocratic Oath doesn't apply to Muslims. Sure makes a lot of sense to me, doesn't it?
Sure, why not?
Don't you see the connection?
Yep.
Now, what is this? Is this from Charlie B? It looks like, no, it's from Sean somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Sean.
Doesn't that look like a Charlie B poll?
It does, but I think that's the Sean sending via email.
Really?
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I'll be damned. Oh, it's an email, that's right. Dear George and Uncle Neil. How come it doesn't say Dear Uncle George and Grandpa Neil or something like that?
Oh, because he ain't a nephew.
He says, I heard the issue of Bo Camper and the coon issue raise its nappy head again, but that whole thing is a tar baby that's best left alone for you and the welfare of this whole station. Oh, he's too many words there. I'm not reading these, Sean. You see the rest of this?
Yeah, I saw it.
Well, I'm not going to read that.
No, go ahead. Come on.
No way, Jorge. Regards, Sean. And he's got a poll on here. This is so poorly put together. I think Sean's a little off his feet. He must be starting a little early on the 4th of July imbibing, you know? The biggest overachiever. Oh, I see there's 2 polls here. See the way he's put this together? You can't even make heads nor tails of it. Fish nor fowl. Ass or neck. The biggest overachiever. Hitler, Clinton, Bill Clinton, 2003 Florida Marlins. How are the Marlins doing, by the way, Chris? They losing every day or what?
2 out of every 3 days.
No. Well, that's not too bad. They win once in a while. Lance Armstrong, the Israelis. Who's the biggest underachiever? Oh, geez, there's all kind of polls in here. But he's done a very poor job of, like, laying these out. Biggest underachiever, the Yankees, George W. Bush, Africa, Condoleezza Rice, and Southerners. No, I think Southerners are overachievers. I think most Southerners, if they achieve more than, like, 50 cents an hour in their lifetime, they're overachieving. This cable is not coming back on. Now, can you tell me why? Is there any special reason for that?
Because just like the healthcare system, it sucks up there, you know.
The cable? Oh, no, my cable's almost never going on.
I know.
And what's the worst thing about your bosses is, oh, you mean fat-ass Jolly Joe from Raleigh, who's bringing all his cronies down and firing everybody else in sight? Worst thing about your boss, he takes credit for the work of others. He's ungrateful. He's cheap. He doesn't support his people. He's not nearly as qualified as me. He tries to micromanage, and I am the boss.
All of these things.
Yeah, except the last one.
All of these things.
Yeah. I wouldn't say micromanage. I would just say, like, what would you say?
Mismanage?
Mismanage is good. In fact, he could be a junior miss. Get the honey, junior. Miss. See, he reminds me a lot of George W. Bush. Just like the thing with, commuting the sentence to Scooter Libby. Every time there's a choice to be made, he makes the wrong decision, Bush. And that's why I see our management basically doing the same thing. Every time there's a choice to be made, like pick one from column A or column B, they pick the wrong column. Just like when I read Tom Zicka's piece before, I think somebody picked the wrong column. You know little Tommy, don't you? You've met him.
Yeah.
Bald.
Stupid.
Doesn't write about radio at all, except that, some stupid, caustic, right-wing crap like that, some propaganda. As if 90% of the broadcast time isn't enough, He's all nervous that the fairness doctrine hasn't got a Chinaman's chance, which he writes in the article. But at least he mentioned my name. Nice going, Tommy. Thank you so much. 9:79. Now Chris can breathe easy. Let out a little exhale, okay? There you go. Boy, like a freaking hurricane. 9:79. Peace would have a better chance in the world, better shot in the world, if there were no religions to divide people. 457. No bubble mices, no fairy tales, no nonsense, no man-made garbage. There never will be peace. 365. The U.S. learned to respect other countries' sovereignty. 98. Oh, sovereignty, what's that? We want it. Whatever they got, we want it. Right?
Right.
That's what the Brits always did, so why the hell can't we do it? If we bomb Iran. 36. If everybody could just join hands and start a love train. 18. I would cue that up again, but it's too much like work. If we could buy the world a Coke and keep it company. 11. That would do it. And then you put a penny in the bottle of Coke, in the glass of Coke, and you watch the penny like disintegrate. You ever seen that?
No. I'm going to do it.
You never saw that?
No, I'm going to go home and do that.
Oh, yeah. Put a penny in a glass of Coke. Oh, the cable's trying to come back on. I saw like a little flicker there on my screen, my friend Flicker. If arms dealers were outlawed, 8, and if people stopped joining the military, solamente 6.
This is Eyewitness News.
Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger has taken some heat for saying Hispanic immigrants should avoid Spanish-language media as a way to help them learn English.
I want to go from morning to night, work every day, 7 days a week to get the message out there. I will go from house to house, knocking on doors, talking to families.
Oye.
You've got to turn off the Spanish television set. Turn off Spanish television set.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Unless, of course, they're watching the novellas, in which case they get an exemption, I guess. Arnold comes in and watches with them.
Imagine. 983
on a poll. I think you're in like Flynn, man. You got a half hour to get 17 votes. Even a deaf, dumb, and blind man could do that.
Let's go, everybody.
Oh, you don't sound really enthusiastic today. Are you fat or what?
Huh?
Are you backtracking a little bit?
Never.
Is he backtracking, George? You can.
No, he looks fine. I'm not gonna.
He looks fine.
As GI wine, yeah, whatever that means.
Fine as GI wine. I don't know. A friend of mine used to say that all the time. And of course, he was gay, so I think he was more interested in the GIs than
I see. He'd like the GI's wine?
Yeah, he liked to make them wine. Speaking of soldiers, 2 American soldiers have been charged with premeditated murder for allegedly killing 3 Iraqis and then planting weapons in their bodies to portray them as combatants, the U.S. military said over the weekend. Lovely. The 3 Iraqis were killed in separate incidents between April and June near a place that I won't even begin to pronounce, 30 miles south of Baghdad. Iskandaria. Oh, see, it's got a whole bunch of letters, but it's not really that hard. Fellow soldiers reported the alleged crimes to military authorities who launched an investigation. The military said, without giving further details on the killings of the victims. One of the accused soldiers, Staff Sergeant Michael Hensley from Candler, North Carolina, was put in military confinement in Kuwait on Thursday, facing 3 counts each of premeditated murder, obstructing justice, and wrongfully placing weapons with the remains of deceased Iraqis, the statement said. His aunt, Patricia Stanbury of Candler, said he was an all-American boy who loved serving in the Army, would never jeopardize his career. An all-American boy. He was on his 3rd tour of duty in Bada-boop-bada-bop. The other soldier, Specialist Jorge G. Sandoval, was arrested Tuesday at his home in Laredo, Texas, and transferred to confinement in Kuwait.
Hola.
The 2 are assigned to the 1st Battalion, 4th Brigade Infantry Division based at Fort Richardson, Alaska. Sandoval's mother, Alicia Sandoval, said her 22-year-old son was on a 2-week leave visiting his family when authorities came and asked to speak to him. They said he would be back shortly, but heard nothing since and had no idea where he was taken until an AP reporter called. I haven't had any news, she said in Spanish on Saturday from her home in Laredo. It was all very sudden. You know, the one thing about that Arnold bit, it works every time, you know. And it goes on and on and on. You know, this is all the butchery that's going on. And, of course, we got bigger fish to fry like Paris freaking Hilton, man. So who cares about all these ragheads, you know?
Right.
Why would anybody care about such crap? We liberated their country. We gave them a chance. And now they're on their own, man. Let them eat the halava. That'll teach them. 986. You need 14 votes. I'm not all that confident right now. I mean, we need a goose. We need a goose for these people. This is right around the time, every single day, when Eric, I don't know, he must be getting like a second wind, or breaking wind, because every time of this day is like when he steps on the brake. The cable looked like it was going to come back on, and you know what?
What?
It didn't happen. Did not happen. So what am I going to do when we get to the top of the hour and I can't watch City Pulse to get the exact, the atomic clock?
Go to a bar and watch their TV.
Okay. See ya. Still got 986. We're 14 votes shy of that 1,000, man. These people, they're like clockwork. They're so predictable. Your good buddy Sherwood Ross has a column here. Should I read it? It's too long. No,
Sherwood Schwartz?
No, Sherwood Ross. Don't you remember he was emailing me the
That's
stuff?
right. I was just making fun.
Are you starting to do your anti-Semitic stuff again or what?
Not me. That's you.
Bush and Poontang, he says, 2 tyrants with much in common. Sherwood Ross on the Smirking Chimp. Oh, they just tried it again. Now, maybe my TV is going out.
No, it's the cable.
No.
Uh-oh.
Because the way that the tube just, that didn't look really good to me. Let me try something here. Turned the set off, turned it back on. I think I'm going to have to get me a new TV, man. That's bad. Wouldn't that be bad?
No. It's fun.
Well, this thing, I mean, how long does a little TV last? I mean, I know it's a stupid question.
Mm-hmm. As long as it does.
Now, am I turning it on or am I turning it off? See, I don't even know if I'm turning it on or off right now. Oh, there it says Channel 3. Something just happened. Oh, hallelujah. Now, that doesn't mean there's a picture there, but at least that means the set's not going out, right?
Right.
Oh, hallelujah. There is a God, and his name is...
Oh, God.
They usually don't go out like that. They get a little dark around the edges and everything, you know.
Are you starting to make racial comments again?
No.
Dark around the edges. Who are you thinking of, Bo Camper?
Bacon.
He's like a totem pole, man. He's like a cigar store engine. He's dark around the edges and probably pretty dark around his...
Rectum.
Rings around the collar, too. So that thing that said 003, that was, I don't know, that was kind of like tantalizing, because at least tells me the set is still okay, and it's on. Is there anything else we need to know about Neil's TV? I don't think so. Mind your own business. Sherwood Ross says, how can Presidents Bush and Poontang be expected to see each other's viewpoints when they're blind to the fact that they're guilty of the very faults in which they accuse each other? The Kennebunkport, Maine session brings together 2 men who share a common proclivity not for only dining on lobster, but for making wars, shredding laws, and grabbing power. These traits have so diminished their stature both in the eyes of their domestic and international critics that it's foolhardy for either of them to think in terms of legacy. History will remember them for the graveyards dug as a result of their tyrannies. Both Bush and Putin have much in common, Both have been absolutely relentless in their prosecution of their respective wars. Bush insists on intensifying the Iraq war, even as key Republican senators turn against him, and polls show the American people want out. As for Putin's war in Chechnya, Lev Ponomarev, the For Human Rights organization, once told CDR Russia Weekly, only Putin and his generals want to continue the war. Seems the Russian people were sick of Putin's war, too. Both leaders have blamed their troubles on terrorists, yet both have been accused of human rights violations of their own that richly qualified them for that epithet. Not surprisingly, neither man finds himself guilty of misjudgment or error. Last March, the Council of Europe's human rights chief, Thomas Hammerberg, said Russian-backed authorities in Chechnya are guilty of a real widespread pattern of serious ill-treatment and many cases of torture against those who have been arrested. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Both tyrants... Both tyrants have operated kidnapping rings. Amnesty International called for an end to the CIA's extraordinary renditions. Poontang's regime similarly has kidnapped and murdered its political foes. A year ago, the Duma enacted a Kremlin-backed law to allow the assassination of enemies of the Russian regime on foreign soil. In an interview published in New Yorker last January 29th, Boris Berezovsky, an anti-Putin billionaire, reminded Putin is a KGB guy. He issues a law allowing the Russians to kill opponents abroad, so they kill opponents abroad. The sensational murder of former KGB agent Alexander Levatenko with a lethal dose of radioactive polonium-210 could be rationalized by the statute. What's more, since Poontang took power in '99, the New Yorker noted, 13 Russian journalists have been murdered, yet not one of the assassins has been brought to justice. The shade of Anna Politkovaya, a Putin critic on the staff of the liberal Novaya Gazeta, will certainly haunt the Bush-Putin sessions. She was murdered last October 7th in the lobby of her Moscow apartment building by a killer who fired 3 bullets into her chest and a control shot in the head. Her crime apparently was documenting torture by forces loyal to Chechnya's pro-Russian prime minister. Commander-in-Chief Bush also has the blood of journalists on his hands. April 8, 2003, for example, U.S. warplanes flew over a residential area of Baghdad and struck a house used as the office of Al Jazeera, killing correspondent Tarek Ayoub. The State Department called the attack a grave error. A U.S. tank about the same time opened fire on Baghdad's Palestine Hotel, killing and wounding a number of other reporters. Both attacks were unprovoked. For Putin, former KGB career service officer, not to find the killers of any of the Russian journalists raises questions about his complicity. Similarly, the failure of America's FBI to find the source of anthrax-laced letters mailed from Fort Detrick, Maryland, to 2 Democratic opponent senators also has raised questions about possible Bush administration complicity. 5 persons were killed, and the U.S. government has shut down, yet in nearly 6 years the perpetrators haven't been found. In addition to their murderous wars, Putin and Bush have usurped vast new political powers, either legally or in secret or both. Putin is consolidating his power by appointing governors, by jailing business opponents, and seizing control of all major TV outlets. Putin allows only a few small circulation opponent newspapers to publish, and only if they don't mention the C word. President Bush has assumed tyrant status under the misnamed Patriot Act and has refused to respond to congressional demands for information about his legal spying on Americans. Bush is also asserting that in event of a national emergency, he can assume control of all branches of government, including Congress and the courts. While he converts himself into an emperor, Bush's underlings skew Russia. This sentence, for a backtracking on democracy, which atop Putin they dismissed as groundless. And Putin has said the U.S. is acting more like Hitler's Third Reich. Both men are quite right, of course, about each other. It'll be nothing short of a marvel if the 2 despots reach agreement on such issues as Kosovo and the Europe-based missile defense system when both are blind to the qualities they share with each other. They're much more alike than they know. 2 tyrants nearing the end of their terms whose departure from the world stage will not be mourned nor missed. And I'm mourning my cable still being out.
Absolutely.
In the corner office there's the desk of a little man. And he doesn't stand more than 5'3". He's got bad breath, B.O. and a big can. He's the head honcho for the whole company. Sometimes he takes his pants off when he's in a meeting. Always hitting on all of the secretaries. And his 3rd wife has no idea he's cheating. He watches porn online. He just got told to sleep. There have been so many times he could have been fired. Goes out and does an 8-ball and gets totally wired. If you say no, he says it's your loss. God, I hate my boss. He comes in hungover Monday with an attitude, telling stories about his weekend escapades. He points to his body parts and is extremely rude. And his eyes are always bloodshot, so he wears shades. He drinks coffee by the gallon and he chain smokes. And he never seems to do any work at all. He sits on your desk and tells you all his dirty jokes. And in his office closet, he's got a blow doll.
All right.
I feel naked now because I don't have my cable and the. I think there it is. The time just came back on the box.
Ooh.
There's something with the cable box because the cable is working because I checked in the living room and the cable is just fine.
Good.
Fine as GI wine, as a matter of fact. But there's some issue here, man. There's some issue, but it does say 147 on there. Is that close?
Yeah, actually.
And the good news, Chris, is we got 1,001 votes.
Oh!
All right. Aren't you thrilled?
Definitely.
No. You could pretend that you care. At least you could.
I said definitely.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear you.
No problem.
You're pretty quiet today. Maybe you don't want to outshout me because I don't have much voice.
That's what it is.
Now we're almost done. Oh. If you would have told me 4 hours ago that I would actually make it through here today, I would have said, "You crazy, man. You crazy." And you know what you would have been?
Right.
Crazy. So what do you think? You think it's my cable box, Mr. TV Repairman? Remember those days? Now, do we still have that? I can't remember the last time I called a TV repairman. Got to be 100 years.
I guess they must exist somewhere.
I mean, what do they do? Because back in the day...
I don't know, man.
Before we had everything now, I guess...
Just buy a new one.
What?
You just buy a new one.
Because it used to be, we had all the tubes, everything was a...
Tube!
And they would replace the small tubes, or once in a while the picture tube, which is really bad. But I can remember the TV repairman coming to the house all the time when I was a kid. Because I told you about that Westinghouse, our first TV set. And you would pull the screen up out of there. It was like a big piece of furniture. And you pull the screen up, like with a little handle, and sit it up. And it was a beautiful thing. The only problem was the picture was always rolling. It was like CCR, rolling. And vertical hold and horizontal hold. Back in those days. Now, people today, punks, they don't even know such things ever existed. Am I right?
Right.
Vertical hold and horizontal hold, and the picture rolling and twisting.
Hold this.
Hold this is right, and twist this. 1,006 votes on the poll. I'm not going to read the result. I can't. I know I'm not reading that second choices, but Charlie, sometimes you do things that just, not that we don't appreciate you. You understand. In the New York Times, Cheryl Gay Stolberg, that's Cheryl Stolberg, for President Bush, a reversal of fortune on his political capital, she writes. After a string of Republican defections this week on Iraq, immigration, and domestic eavesdropping, President Bush enters the final 18 months of his presidency in danger of losing control over a party that once marched in lockstep with him. First, two prominent Republican senators broke with the president on Iraq. Then Mr. Bush's party abandoned him in droves on the immigration bill, sending the measure to its death in the Senate, despite the president's fervent lobbying for it. And when Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee voted to issue subpoenas to the White House for documents related to its domestic eavesdropping program, 3 Republicans, including a longtime loyalist, Senator Orrin G. Hatch of Utah, joined them, and another 3 didn't take any position. For a president who once boasted that he had political capital and intended to use it, the back-to-back desertions demonstrated starkly just how little of that capital is left. With the nation turning its attention to who will succeed Mr. Bush and Republican presidential candidates increasingly distancing themselves from him, even allies say it could become increasingly difficult for the president to assert himself over his party, much less force the Democratic majority in Congress to bend to his will. When you're first elected, you have some momentum, you have more ability to persuade, said Senator Jeff Sessions, Republican of Alabama. In the last few months of any administration, getting people to do something simply because the president asked for it is less. That is certainly true here. In the last months, not 3 months, in the last months. Even weakened presidents retain tremendous influence. If nothing else, the conservative tenor of many of the Supreme Court's decisions in the last week was a stark reminder of the ways that Mr. Bush's legacy will continue to shape politics and policy for a long time. As the president demonstrated in clashes with Congress over war spending and stem cell research, he still has enough Republican support to sustain a veto, and administration officials said Bush had no intention of writing off next year and a half. Still, for a president who once had almost absolute control over his own party and the proclivity to employ his power expansively, if not audaciously, the last week was a reminder of how much things have changed. Republicans who came to office brimming with optimism just a few short years ago now sound as if they fear a long slog ahead. One of them, Senator John Thune of South Dakota, who was elected in 2004, wondered whether the collapse of the immigration bill foreshadowed a long final 18 months of the Bush presidency. With the 2008 presidential campaign intensifying, Mr. Thune said achieving legislative accomplishments would almost certainly become increasingly difficult. Probably a lot of the heavy lifting will get pushed off, he said. I hope that doesn't happen, but it probably will. I suspect a lot of what's going to dominate the atmosphere around here in the next several months will be on Iraq. Wow, how perspicacious of him. An important test of Bush's continued hold over his party will be in September, when his troop buildup in Iraq will be reevaluated on Capitol Hill and almost certainly face Republican pressure to shift course. Senators Richard Lugar of Indiana and George Voinovich of Ohio argued for a new direction this week. Even Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the Republican leader, has strongly suggested Republicans will demand a change. I think the handwriting is on the wall that we're going in a different direction in the fall, McConnell told reporters last month, and I expect the president to lead it. He'd be saying, hold your breath, Mitch. Rhymes with bitch. Now, is it 152? Is it 153? I'm not used to this.
152,
so like I said,
baby.
Really, I beg your pardon?
It's 152 and 10 seconds.
Oh. Wow.
Well, in 10 seconds till.
Oh, in 10 seconds till 153.
Right, yeah. Sorry. 153.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Time for this.
You're bad.
Got my cable back. You know how I did it?
All right.
I banged the box.
That's right. That's maintenance.
I smacked it.
Joyce is out to get us. Once you rape and destroy our show.
Absolutely.
Joyce is a fake attorney who don't know nothing about radio. Joyce won't let me. Joyce won't let me. Joyce won't let me. Play any parts. Joyce went to Jiffy Lube Law School. Uninformed, stupid hag, fraudulent turn. QAM is run by the Billy Fools that obey their morons every word. Joyce won't let me. Joyce won't let me. Joyce won't let me.